Chapter 3374 Almost died Pang. Following the strong will, Han Sen's body started to dissolve. Han Sen, Wanner and Chaos split into 3 separate entities. They all flew in different directions. The scary power suddenly vanished. Qin Xiu looked cold. The black crystal armor started again. It was like a devil in front of Han Sen aiming at his forehead. Han Sen still kept his pure spirit body mode engaged. His heart jumped. He wanted to break the rules of the universe and reduce the restrictions. Unfortunately, the black crystal armor's power could control a pure spirit body. The whole of space was not trapped. Han Sen's spirit body was unable to leave. He knew this was a life-or-death moment. Without hesitation, Han Sen gnashed his teeth and exited his pure spirit mode. His xenogenic battle body madly exploded with power. The Dongxian armor wrapped up his body. The story of genes broke the world and created a white flame that hastily wreathed his body. The blood pulse sutra boiled in his blood. Jade skin unleashed its frosting chill. Han Sen gunned his power to the max and threw a punch at Qin Xiu's finger. The finger touched down on the tip of his finger. It led to Han Sen being petrified. His power was uncontrollably going forth to strike Qin Xiu. Qin Xiu looked at Han Sen coldly. I already told you that the Geno prototype armor is an origin point of the whole universe. No matter how much you change it, for as long as it is in the rules of the universe, you will be restricted by the Geno prototype armor. If I want you to live, you will live. If I want to see you die, you will die. Even though Qin Xiu said that he didn't have to, Han Sen knew it all too well. He used to have a Geno prototype armor. He used the Geno prototype armor to evolve creatures and beast souls. It did not cost him any energy to do that either. Now that he thought about it some more, if it was not the universe's origin that could wrap up every gene message in the universe, he could not have done that. While Han Sen was staring down this immense power, it was very hard for him to deal with it. If you want to suck it, I will let you suck it. Han Sen did not fall back. Instead, he moved forward. His long hair was flying. His entire battle body went mad. He absorbed his power, trying to shake Qin Xiu away. The black crystal armor's spells were floating. No matter how powerful Han Sen's strength was, it was going to be absorbed by the black crystal armor. The stronger Han Sen became, the stronger the black crystal armor would become. The black crystal armor was like a monster that could keep on evolving. Any power that landed on it would be nutritious, and it would work to make it bigger. Han Sen's power did not harm him. All he could achieve was making the black crystal armor stronger, lending aid to Qin Xiu. Even though this occurred in a single, small moment in time, Han Sen felt his body become empty. It was like he was going to be sucked dry. Qin Xiu said, "For you to be able to evolve to this level, I have to confess that you aren't all that bad. Considering the fact that you looked after Wanner for me in the past, I will give you the ability to reincarnate. Next time, don't make yourself my enemy." He then raised his other hand. It turned into a fist. He aimed at Han Sen's head as he launched it. No! Suddenly, there was a scream. A person had managed to rush there, and shield Han Senator. It was Wanner, who had been separated from Han Senator. Wanner's body was looking very clear. It was starting to go back to black. It was clearly the witch Wanner's will that was suppressing Qin Wanner's will. It was taking over and becoming the primary. Brother Qin Xiu, I beg you. Please do not hurt Big Brother. Let him go. If you do not like it so much, I will make sure I never see him again. Wanner was in front of Han Senator. She kept begging. Upon seeing all the tears roll down Wanner's cheeks, Qin Xiu lowered his fist. He suddenly looked rather soft. He stroked Wanner's hair and said, "Wanner, if you like him so much, I would do anything for you." After that, Qin Xiu put back the finger that was against Han Sen's fist. He held Wanner's waist. He took her with him and fled. "Brother Qin Xiu, I thank you. I will listen to you from now on," Wanner said. She went back to Han Sen and shouted, "Quick! Leave! Leave and never come back!" Qin Xiu softly pulled Wanner away with him as he said, "Let's go, Wanner." When Wanner turned back, Qin Xiu's other hand cast a silent power. He had collected it for so long, but he suddenly launched a fist toward Han Sen, who was now in the air. Han Sen was not as naive as Wanner. He knew Qin Xiu was not going to just let him go. He saw that beam of light, which was made of countless black spells, come silently for him. He had to gnash his teeth and explode the leftover power he had in the welcome of the nasty light. The silent power exploded in the air. The whole world looked as if it had been disturbed by that mysterious power. Wana was being held by Qinxiu, but she moved. She was not able to feel the power floating. She did not realize the disaster that was happening behind her. Qinxiu quickly took her out of the 33rd sky. Catcha! Catcha! Han Sen's Dongxian armor was starting to crack under the duress of that scary power. His muscles and bones were being torn apart. His powerful xenogenic battle body could not withstand the scary attack. A black light came from space. It was the black crystal armor Chaos had. It suddenly clad Han Sen's body with a strange type of power that fought back the scary power alongside Han. Senator Chaos herself was just a spirit, and she had given up the Geno prototype armor. She did not have much power, and Han Sen was weak. With the two of their powers, they could not block the scary attacks. All the bones in Han Sen's body were moaning and crying. The black crystal armor started to crack more and more. It seemed as if it was going to break. I am going to die. Han Sen felt his body break. He roared and adopted his super god spirit body's break world shape to try and survive the onslaught. He suddenly felt a power inside his body. That power was very weird. He suddenly reversed everything. Qinxiu's scary attack suddenly became a nice beam of light. Ultimate egg. Han Sen felt some sort of power inside him. The ultimate egg had not moved for a long time. Han Sen thought he had refined it already. Now he was able to notice the ultimate egg was still in his body. It was spinning fast, unleashing a weird sort of power. Is that thing inside you? You are lucky. Let us escape now. Chaos was surprised by this too, but she still hurried Han Sen to leave. Han Sen did not dare hesitate. He dragged his weakened body to employ the super god spirit mode, break the world, and leave the 33 skies. He had the ultimate egg. Qinxiu frowned. Looking back in the 33rd sky's direction, Qinxiu was not looking too well. Seeing Wanner hold his arm, the corners of his eyes trembled. He gave up on going back to the 33rd sky. The Geno prototype armor is mine now. I will be able to kill them whenever. They can live for a few more days. Qinxiu looked calm, but he still sent a message. The scary creatures that obeyed Qinxiu received Qinxiu's messages. They went on the move. Chapter 3375. Flying out of the sky. Han Sen was forced to break his way out of the 33 skies. He used his identity as the leader of the Burning Red Sky to return to Burning Red Sky. Dad. Bao'er saw Han Sen, and immediately ran up to him. Bao'er, let's go. Han Sen picked up Bao'er and readied himself to leave Burning Red Sky. Before they could leave, many space tunnels opened in Burning Red Sky. They looked similar to black holes. Many scary creatures were coming through the black holes. Han Sen, we meet again. A weird voice sounded. Han Sen saw Shoot Shadow of the God Chaos Party emerge from a black hole. The people accompanying him, a few of God Chaos Party's elders. One of them was Rocky D, with whom Han Sen was already quite familiar. Han Sen ignored Shoot Shadow's presence. He grabbed Bao'er and used his identity as the Burning Red Sky's leader to leave Burning Red Sky. He soon heard a scary beast make a roaring noise. The whole of Burning Red Sky started to shake and shiver. Space seemed all wrong. Han Sen was unable to leave Burning Red Sky. A break-world beast that looked like a real dragon entered the place from a warp in space. Wherever it went, space was twisted. Its giant body appeared in Burning Red Sky. Its presence affected the entire space of Burning Red Sky, trapping it and everything else in there. Han Sen, you should just die. You have been able to prompt the whole God Chaos Party to send out this many elites, so be proud. Your death will be a noble one. Shoot Shadow looked at Han Sen with an expression of pride smearing his face. I might not be the one that ends up dead, Han Sen said while putting Bao'er down. If it isn't you, are you suggesting it will be me? Shoot Shadow laughed as if it was a funny joke. Yes, it will be you. Shoot Shadow had only just finished speaking when he heard a cold sound come from behind. Shoot Shadow obviously wanted to turn around and see who it was, but a paper knife came swinging down. His vision started to roll as his head flew into the sky. His dead face had an expression of disbelief. The other God Chaos Party elders looked shocked. They saw Rocky D murder shoot Shadow. Mister, allow me to handle this. Han-san, you take the master ahead and leave first. Rocky D put his right hand against his chest as he bowed before Han's senator. He then turned around and faced all the creatures with his paper knife. Han-san knew Rocky D was not bowing to him. It was the black crystal armor he had on. He was bowing to the leader of the God Chaos Party. He knew Rocky D would probably end up dead, but Han-san was in a weakened condition. Even if he fought alongside Rocky D, he would probably end up dying with him. Han-san did not say anything. He picked up Bao'er and used the last of his power to break space and leave. The scary break-world beast that looked like a real dragon roared. It was trying to consume Han's senator almost at the same time. Many break-world beasts rushed there too. Rocky D's eyes looked cold. His hands opened. Paper appeared like snowflakes. His 10 fingers became pairs of scissors. They crossed each other. The paper looked like a blizzard as he made loads many silhouettes. The silhouettes turned into many scary creatures that could battle with the break-world beasts. They blocked most of the advancing break-world beasts. A God Chaos Party elder coldly questioned Rocky D. Rocky D, how dare you become an enemy of the leader? Do you even know what you are doing? Rocky D's lips were crooked at a very disdainful angle. In his eyes, there was only one leader for the God Chaos Party, Chaos. After that, Rocky D swung his paper knife and went straight to the break-world beasts that were rushing in like a mad tide. If you want to die, I cannot help you. The God Chaos Party elder looked cold as he waved his hands. Many more break-world beasts came charging at Rocky D. Han-san gnashed his teeth. He did not look at the fight that was behind him. Even though he did not look back, he could imagine what it looked like. Out of the way. Han-san gathered the last of his strength to throw a punch at the real dragon-looking break-world beast. With the skills of his super spank, a powerful power broke the break-world beast's massive body. His punch punctured the fiend and created a big and bloody hole in its chest. Han-san used that impact crater to cut through the break-world beast's body and escape the 33 skies. Sky King was helping Qin Xiu, who was a son of the 33 skies. The 33 skies were no longer a safe place for Han-san to be in. He would only be able to survive if he got out of the 33 skies. Before Han-san was able to get out of burning red sky, a body suddenly blocked his way. I am one of the 4 kings of the God Chaos Party, Ichi. I will be taking your life. The shadow came before him. Time felt as if it stopped before that man. Han-san shockingly noticed his body seemed to be moving despite nothing around him changing. It was like all of space was frozen around him. The voice of chaos started to speak in Han-san's mind. That is a time element break world creature. Its break world rate is almost 100%. Only by using a Geno prototype armor can you make a break world creature like that. Han-san felt glum. His power was almost all drained. He did not have the juice needed to deal with a top-class break world beast. Time is like my needle, Ichi coldly said. Thousands of years of time reside in my fingers. Your time and existence will be erased by my hands. You will vanish from the river of time. He waved his fingers. Han-san felt as if time around him was freezing. It was as if he had fallen into a place where time did not advance, and everything remained still. Suddenly, Han-san felt space become lively again. Things started to move. What is going on? Han-san was shocked. He suddenly heard a voice. Do you want to play with time? You are very far from being able to. Before me, no one else can control time. A long shadow appeared out of the river of time. It seemed very slow, but it was very fast. The shadow walked past Han's senator wherever she went. The frozen time returned to its ordinary flow. It was like a river of ice was being melted. Moment God. Han-san looked at the proud shadow. He was shocked. This moment God was not the one in the God of Wealth Temple. This was the moment God that was one of the 12 Annihilation class God spirits. Han-san would have never guessed that moment God would show up now, seemingly with a desire to aid him. What are you looking at? Do you want me to throw you into an endless time loop? Moment God did not look back or look at Han Sr., thank you. Han-san did not know why Moment God had shown up to help him, but now was not the time to talk. He picked Bao'er up and left. Stop. Ichi looked dim. He wanted to stop Han's senator when he moved. Moment God stopped him. Do not die yet, Moment God said. I am the one that is supposed to kill you. Chapter 3376. The story of Gene's real creator Han was finally able to escape the burning red sky. Outside the 33 skies, even more beasts were coming. They were like a tide consuming all of space. Suddenly, the whole place was very bright. A sharp light lit up the entire universe. Within its brightest part, one was not able to see anything. I am in the light looking for darkness. Under the holiness, things might be dirty. Perhaps that is the final compromise. Within the light, a goddess revealed herself. She was shining a trail through the stars. Light goddess. Han was shocked by her sudden appearance. He was already still reeling from the surprise of Moment God coming to help him. He did not expect Light Goddess would also appear. Now, watch my amazing attempt at humor. For I want you to start calling me Dark Goddess. Light Goddess displayed an evil smile. She was glowing. Suddenly, all that was bright went dark. The entire world was plunged into darkness. Without the dark, there can be no light. If you follow the light, you will be led to where you want to go. As he heard the voice of Light Goddess, Han knew he had a spirit light for guidance. He listened to Light Goddess's voice and went to the light. The whole world was dark. The break-world beasts that looked like a tide could not see where Han was. They were like headless flies hitting each other. They were even going so far as to kill each other. Light Goddess, save your game. In front of me, your light world is useless. A mean voice emerged from the black, tinting the void. It was a red Kirin-like gene race. Its body was wreathed by a red light. Wherever it went, everything was dyed red. The break-world beasts in the dark could not see anything before, but they could now see that which was colored red. It was not like a real graphic, but it enabled them to find out just where Han was. Shock wave. Before Han could react, a giant-looking strong body was standing behind him. A godly voice came down, punching into space. The whole of space felt as if it had been rocked by a tsunami. The group of break-world beasts was punched. They flew into space. Suddenly, the entire area became one huge vacuum zone. Crazy Battle God. Han recognized the god spirit's shadow. It was one of the 12 Annihilation class god spirits called Crazy Battle God. Go. Crazy Battle God did not look back. His strong body was like a big wall blocking the break-world beasts that came. Roaring sounds were heard all over the place. Thanks. Han did not know why the god spirits were all deciding to help him, but there was no time left to waste. He bid his thanks and flew away. I would not advise you to get ahead of yourself. Do not think too much about what we are doing here today. It will only disappoint you. Why? Well, for one, we are not here to save you. A cold voice was heard. Empty God appeared behind Han's senator. He was holding a golden arrow in space. If he did not have the golden arrow, Han's spine would have been severed. Han developed a wry smile as he shook his head. He broke space and kept on going until he was finally away from the crowd of break-world beasts. The 33 skies were in chaos. Han could see 6 Annihilation class main gods do battle with the break-world beasts. A voice sounded in Han's head. Go. Bao'er's body has her father's blood. Even half of the Geno Hall's blood will permit Bao'er to fall into Qin Xiu's hands. By doing that, Qin Xiu will stir, wake up, and come to understand Bao'er's true identity. We should just leave. Do you mind telling me where we're going after we leave? Han asked. With Qin Xiu's power being what it was, he could not think of a place to hide. Qin Xiu would want to kill him. The sanctuaries, Chaos said. By going to the sanctuaries, we will be able to buy ourselves some time. Qin Xiu is already in control of the Geno prototype armor, but his body has not been rebooted yet. Before that happens, he does not have the power to make the last step. This whole last step thing has been mentioned more than a few times, Han said. It would be nice if someone took the time out to explain what it is to me. Can you tell me what the last step is? Now is not the time to talk, Chaos said. Right now, we should just go to the sanctuaries in case Qin Xiu finds out about Bao'er. Han had to take Bao'er back to the sanctuaries. The two universes had been fighting for so long, but peace had been able to prosper in the sanctuaries. There was wind there, and there was sunshine there. It was like nothing had happened. Hansen used galaxy teleportation and returned to his home in the Alliance. He sat his butt down and did not want to get up ever again. He had spent too much power. In the end, he risked his life to use galaxy teleportation. Bao'er stood next to Han's senator. Her big eyes stared at his black crystal armor. The black crystal armor broke. It fell away from Hansen to recompose itself in the shape of a woman's set of armor. She proceeded to touch Bao'er on the head. Bao'er was confused, but she did not avoid her. Chaos, what is going on? Hansen sat on the floor, gasping. Chaos shrugged with her shoulders and said, "Nothing. I did something. Qin Xiu knows and should be called Human Alpha. Something has made him really mad. He is so mad that he will want to kill Bao'er and not just me." Hansen looked at Chaos with a conflicted look. He did not know what Chaos did to Human Alpha to make him reincarnate many times yet still go on with the desire for killing her daughter. Killing people's children was not something beyond Qin Xiu's capacity for evil. If it was not entirely necessary, Qin Xiu might not go through with it. Do not look at me like that. It is not solely my fault. Back in the day, Bao'er's father. Chaos seemed to know she had exposed a buried secret. She changed the subject by saying, "You just need to know that Qin Xiu will not let Bao'er go. You and Wanner combined can defeat Qin Xiu while he has not completed the final step, but Wanner has a strong connection with Qin Xiu. Using her to break Qin Xiu seems like it would be impossible. Before that can happen, Qin Xiu will not give you another chance. In that case, what do you think we should do next?" Hansen asked. "It depends entirely on Bao'er. Only she can beat Qin Xiu now." Chaos looked lovingly at Bao'er and touched her head again. She seemed rather sad. "The chance you speak of cannot be the gourd seed, can it?" Hansen asked with a weird look. Chaos laughed. "That was not a gourd seed. That was the super gene seed me and Bao'er's dad researched. It was only half finished. It was never completed, but don't worry. Bao'er has the genes of me and her father. With her genes, the ability to make a super gene seed is hers. It can be made, assuming we have enough time. When Qin Xiu makes the final step, Bao'er can fight him. Aside from doing that, is there no other way?" Hansen did not want such an important responsibility to fall to Bao'er. Chaos sighed. "Even if there is only a 1 in 10,000 chance of pulling this off, I would rather opt to take it than let Bao'er risk her life. Qin Xiu is special, but I know for sure only Bao'er is capable of defeating him." After that, Chaos looked at Han's senator. She seemed to understand his will. She shook her head. "There is no need to be cross. I am just saying this. After all, you should know how scary Qin Xiu is by now. You practiced the story of genes too. That was the first life of Qin Xiu, and it was made by Human Alpha." "What? The story of genes was made by Qin Xiu?" Hansen's eyes opened wide. He looked at Chaos in utter disbelief. One could have squeezed an egg into his mouth. Chapter 3377 God Descends. Human Alpha was very proud back in the day. He wanted to use his body to accomplish that final step, so that was why he created the story of genes. Chaos laughed and went on to say, "It is a shame that the story of genes was just a theory. It did not actually happen. No one was able to practice it. Not even Human Alpha himself. Through the aid of the Geno prototype's armor, wasn't I able to practice with the story of genes?" Hansen asked because he was curious about it. Chaos shook her head. "The story of genes includes a line of every gene in the universe. My Geno prototype's power was able to make your body's requirement sufficient enough to practice the story of genes, but that was just at the lowest possible requirement. The story of genes still requires your own genes when it comes to making the final step. That doesn't just apply to you. Even Qin Xiu, who has the Geno prototype armor, cannot do it." "Fine. It is almost time. We must hurry up and help Bao'er combine with the super gene seed. I am going to need your help." Chaos pointed at Hansen's chest and said, "Your body has half of the super gene, so it should be able to help Bao'er. Do you mean the ultimate egg?" Hansen was shocked. He now understood what Chaos meant. "That is not an ultimate egg," Chaos said. "It is a product of me and Bao'er's father's genes. The two of our genes combined to form this super gene's half-completion with the knowledge that it could be used to suppress human alpha. Back in the day, it was a half-complete super gene, but there were too many flaws. There was no effective way of improving it. Using it to help Bao'er evolve her own super gene seed should be fine. Are you saying this ultimate egg is for suppressing human alpha? Hansen asked. From what I know, the ultimate egg belonged to the Wu Wei Dao Alpha. The Wu Wei Dao Alpha you mention is the afterlife of the human alpha, Chaos said with certainty. It was the life in which the ultimate egg became free. If I have guessed correctly, after the Wu Wei Dao Alpha was reborn, Qin Xiu came into existence. Hansen knew for sure that human alpha, the Wu Wei Dao Alpha, and Qin Xiu were the same person. It was kind of funny that Qin Xiu was the Wu Wei Dao Alpha, but the Qin Kingdom was a kingdom that did not support the Wu Wei Dao Palace. Chaos was not in much of a mood to explain too many things. She just went ahead to try and teach Bao'er how to use the super gene seed. It was the gourd vine. In fact, only Bao'er was able to use that gourd vine. When her genes grew up with the gourd vines hurried the evolution of Bao'er's genes. The two of them helped out each other. They both required each other. Chaos helped Hansen recover quickly. She then taught him a way to control the ultimate egg. She let Hansen control the ultimate egg. When Hansen was able to control the ultimate egg, he was able to use the ultimate egg to recharge Bao'er's power. Controlling the ultimate egg was not easy. Although the ultimate egg was just a failed result of making the super genes, its power was already fairly close. Hansen tried it many times, but he was only able to learn a bit of skill through it. Every day, he used the ultimate egg's power to rinse Bao'er, hoping Bao'er and the gourd would be able to evolve faster. After the fighting in the 33 skies, Qin Xiu did not show up again. The God Chaos Party's battle with the God Spirits had only just begun, and the 33 skies were to be used as a battleground. Many God Chaos Party Break World beasts battled the God Spirits for a leadership position. In the 33 skies, 23 of the skies had a master. God Chaos Party had 1/3 of them, while the God Spirits managed to claim another 1/3 for themselves. The last 1/3 was taken by other powerful creatures. The Geno universe and universe of kingdoms were both in chaos. Breakworld beasts were everywhere. Many elites had been created. That was especially true in Space Garden. Many humans, spirits, and creatures were able to break the world. Even in the middle of that chaotic environment, humans were still able to adapt, overcome, and keep a hold of their Space Garden home. Hansen was in Space Garden. He killed a Breakworld beast and put a Breakworld gene in his belly. Breakworld genes +1. Hansen's Breakworld genes tally had reached 97 or something. Recently, killing Breakworld beasts to earn Breakworld genes had become very difficult. Eating one Breakworld gene was only able to increase his Breakworld gene tally by 1. Even so, there were too many Breakworld beasts. Hansen's Breakworld genes had almost managed to max out by this point. Recently, Qin Xiu had not been all that active. So, Hansen rinsed Bao'er every day before going into the Geno universe to hunt more Breakworld beasts. Although Chaos said only Bao'er was the one who could fight Qin Xiu, Hansen did not agree with that belief. If it was possible, he did not want Bao'er to be the one at risk. He did not think it was right to put so many responsibilities on one child. The story of genes, Jade Skin, Dongxian Sutra, Blood Pulse Sutra. While Hansen was resting, he thought about all these skills all over again. The Geno prototype armor has a power that stems from the origin of the universe. All the gene lines are in there. No matter how strong my power is, it still comes from somewhere in the universe's base. I will not be able to break the Geno prototype's armor. So, how do I break through and gain a power that resides outside existence as we know it? Hansen had been thinking about this issue a lot. Hansen knew that this would not be easy. The ultimate egg was such a massive power, but it had failed to ascend and go beyond the rules. It was a failure. Qin Xiu was very strong, yet he failed to make the last step. In the end, he was going to use the Geno prototype armor to do it. Bao'er had the God Chaos Party leader and the last good gene from the God Hall leader, but she still needed to combine with the super gene seed to make the final step. Does this mean there is no way to use your own power for making that last step? Hansen asked himself. When I and Wanner combined, I did feel that restriction. Now Wanner is gone, but my power might not have to go through the next step. Hansen was not someone who gave up easily. Although many people had told him Bao'er was the only one able to make the final step, he did not want to give up. He did not want to wait for Bao'er to solve the issue. While Hansen was thinking, a shadow was approaching. It was the Geno Hall leader, God. You look like you are in trouble, God said with a laugh. Thank you for saving us. Hansen knew moment God, and the others most likely joined because of him. God shook his head. I did not do that for you. I am merely saving myself. If Qin Xiu killed Bao'er, then no one in this world would be able to stand against him. Hansen looked at God and asked, including you? God seriously said, yes, including me. Is Qin Xiu really that strong? Can't a reboot power stop him? Hansen asked with a frown. Of course, the God Chaos Party leader was very strong, but she would still have to fall to the whims of the rebooting powers. Why could it not be used against Qin Xiu? It was something that confused Han Sr. Did Chaos not tell you that Qin Xiu has the genes of a reboot class God spirit? What God said surprised Han Sr. Chapter 3378 Accident? Does Qin Xiu really have a reboot class God spirit gene? Which reboot class God spirit gene does he have? Hansen was completely shocked. He only knew 2 reboot God spirits. One of them was Bao'er's father. The other was the God Hall leader, God, who was currently in front of him. If Qin Xiu had a reboot class God spirit gene, there was a 90% chance that the one Qin Xiu had was not the one currently in front of him. That seemed to leave out one of the options, which meant there was only one possibility remaining. This manner of guessing seemed to surprise Han Senator. If Qin Xiu had the previous God Hall leader's genes, what could that mean? Hansen felt as if his brain was not working right. Did Chaos not tell you about Qin Xiu? God looked surprised. She told me Qin Xiu was human alpha, who was also Wu Wei Dao alpha, Hansen said. That is correct, but human alpha himself is. After saying that, God stopped speaking. He looked at Hansen and said, if Chaos did not tell you, then I should keep my mouth closed. Numerous frown lines sprung up on Hansen's forehead. He was very frustrated and wanted to step on God's face. What are you doing here? This cannot just be a social call to check up on how I am doing. Hansen looked at God. He sounded very displeased. We are friends. I would never be cruel to you. God smiled and said, I came looking for you because I want to know how Bao'er is doing. If Qin Xiu makes his final step and controls the Geno tablet, that would be disastrous. We are going to need Bao'er. What does Qin Xiu actually want? Hansen didn't get it. He did not actually know what Qin Xiu wanted. God sighed and said, I am not a bug in his stomach, so I do not know what he is thinking. Judging from his current course of action, I would say he wants to reboot the universe. Reboot the universe? What does that have to do with him? Hansen did not understand. Last time, the previous God Hall leader rebooted the universe by sacrificing himself. Fortunately, aside from stopping the rise of the God Chaos Party, nothing truly terrible happened. God said, ordinary universal reboots are a way to set the universe back to its origin point. It is similar to the Geno tablet being rebooted. It will not really distort space, but Qin Xiu has the Geno prototype armor. On top of that, he has reboot powers. He also has the Geno tablet's power. Maybe he can really reverse the universe's space and have it go back to the moment Qin Xiu precisely wants. Hansen was shocked. He seemed to understand something, so he asked, does Qin Xiu want to reverse the universe and send everything back to the point when Wanner died? Maybe. Qin Xiu's relationship with Wanner is very intimate, God said. He has real feelings for her. Aside from his feelings toward Wanner, when Qin Xiu was human alpha, a massively bad thing happened. So, I am not sure how far back he wants to take the universe. If Qin Xiu successfully reverses times, what will happen? Hansen asked. God shook his head. I do not know. No one has ever done this before. In theory, it should not be possible because time and space have a line. If it exists, there is always a trace. Things can never go back to how they used to be. Even if we have the reboot class God Spirit reboot power, it will only make the universe return to its origin. That is not really a reversal of time and space. After pausing for a moment, God said, if this is really successful, there are two possibilities. First, when time reboots, all the time and space markings will be erased. Whatever happens after that will never have existed before. Hansen was more interested in the second possibility. The first possibility seemed rather normal. Even he was able to guess that. The second possibility is probably much worse, God said. That is because the reversal of time and space betrays the laws of karma. It is a basic law and something that cannot be allowed. The existences that betray this causal power become erased. Hansen did not understand. After thinking it over a few times, he suddenly developed a cold sweat. Upon seeing Hansen's face, God understood the man before now understood what was being said. He seriously said, it is just as you thought. If the second situation happens, it will be the end of the world. Everything will be reduced to zero, and that will include you and me. Hansen looked at God and asked, if you knew this, why did you not try and stop Qin Xiao? Do you think I did not want to? I am God. I am the master of the God Hall. But even what I do must abide by the rules. What Qin Xiao does is outside the rules. Do you understand what I am saying? God looked bitter. Is there no other way? Hansen frowned. God looked at Hansen seriously as he said, yes. We must make the last step and go beyond the rules. If we beat Qin Xiao, he cannot reboot the universe. I do not want Bao'er to take on this much responsibility. Hansen shook his head. I did not say we should use Bao'er. I was saying we should use you. God's words surprised Han Sr. Did you not just say only Bao'er can fight Qin Xiao? Hansen looked at God with a confused expression. In theory that is correct. From a gene perspective, only Bao'er can fight Qin Xiao. There is no third creature that has great genes like that. Hansen knew God must have had more to say. He remained silent so he could keep going. God went on to say, there is an exception to everything. Perhaps you can be one such accident. Hansen looked at God Hall leader and asked, what are the chances of that? Up until now, I have not seen such a chance. God's answer made frown lines form on Hansen's forehead. God smiled. He patted Hansen on the shoulder and said, if I can find a chance, it will not be an accident. So just give it a try. Maybe you will be lucky enough to get the 1 out of a billion chance needed. Even if you fail, it will not matter to me. You are the one who will be dead. Not me. Hansen was speechless. He felt as if God had only just gone there to make him angry. Okay, I should go. God turned around and readied himself to leave. Are you just going to sit there and wait for a result? Hansen did not believe God was going to sit back and do nothing, putting the fate of everything in the hands of others. Me? I am going to try my luck. Maybe I will end up the lucky one. God did not look back. He smiled. His body then vanished. Hansen was shocked. God had said it so relaxed, but Hansen had a bad feeling about this. Chapter 33:79 Nothing as he watched God leave. Hansen looked surprised. He shook his head. It is pointless to think about these things too much. I just need to be myself more. Hansen kept looking around for break world beasts. He wanted his break world tally to reach 100 to see if his super god spirit mode might exhibit positive changes. After killing a few break world beasts, Hansen thought his break world gene tally would hit 100. The results made him wonder. When his break world gene number reached 99, he consumed 2 more break world genes. They did not, however, increase his break world gene tally. Is it because the break world rate of these break world genes is not high enough? Does the final break world gene just require more juice? Hansen did not know, so he had to continue his search for break world beasts. He swallowed a few more break world genes, but the results were the same every time. He did not get any more break world genes. Hansen had been thinking about whether or not he should give up hunting break world beasts. When he killed the next break world beast, he heard a familiar sound after he swallowed the break world gene +1. Hansen was happy. Before he had any other ideas, he heard another sound. Evolution requirement reached. Super God Spirit mode is evolving. In the next second, Hansen's Super God Spirit mode started. He turned into a spirit body. This time, his super god spirit body was different. Aside from his super god spirit body, the 4 Geno arts started running. Hansen felt the power of the 4 Geno arts start changing. The break world rate was increasing, and his body was changing. These effects were affecting his super god spirit body. In the past, the super god spirit body did its own thing. It would not combine with other powers. It would not be affected by other powers. This time, the super god spirit body felt as if it was infected. The spirit body's mode exhibited tangible changes. Blood Pulse Sutra was there, and it made the blood of the super god spirit body solid. It was no longer just an empty spirit body. Wherever Jade Skin's power reached, it made ice jade-like skin appear. Wherever the Dongxian Sutra reached, every inch of the soul-like body seemed to change. The story of Jin's power made the spirit body become closer to being a body. Hansen felt his body become incredibly itchy. It was like a wound that had scabbed over with the production of new flesh. It did not hurt, but it felt rather awful. It made him really want to scratch himself all over. Hansen knew he could not scratch things right now. If he tried to do anything, he would only end up interfering with the evolution process of his body. He had to resist the urges he had. His entire body felt as if countless bugs were crawling all over. His body was growing flesh. Even his bones were visible. If someone saw Hansen's face right now, they would have been given a shock. Hansen was half human and half spirit. He looked extremely weird. He looked like a demon from hell. Time went by. The super god spirit body's spirit body returned to the shape of an ordinary human. It looked quite normal. Hansen still knew that he was in super god spirit mode. He never left that mode. Compared to before, Hansen felt freer than ever. When he used his super god spirit body, it led to many burdens blistering his body. Now those feelings were gone. It was like this was always how his body was supposed to be. When his body finished evolving, Hansen's body felt relaxed. He felt as if something was different with his body even though there were no differences. He looked at his information. Hansen, super god body none, lifespan, 3,246 years. Hansen was frozen. Humans from the sanctuaries all had super god bodies, but his super god body was a super god spirit body. Right after he evolved, his super god body had become nothing. Hansen tried using his powers, but he noticed his body was unable to use his super god body anymore. Gosh, this is all just so strange. I mean, how is this possible? Why is my body totally out of whack now? It's starting to make me think that the further I take my body, and the more I evolve, the further back I go. Have I just gone so far past the limit that I've looped to start over again? Hansen was confused. Hansen tried casting his Geno arts, but his face looked terrible. He felt as if his body had become a real, average body. He was so slow that he could not feel his body moving. What is going on? Hansen was shocked. He cast a few more Geno arts, but it was exactly the same. No matter what Geno art he used, his body had no feeling. It felt as if his body was just a stone that did not work. Hansen walked back to Space Garden. His body did not move fast. He was like a normal person. He was not faster than any average person. When he ran, he did not feel tired. He ran all the way back to base without blushing. He was not winded, and he did not gasp. All in all, he did not feel tired. Mr. White, help me have a look at what happened to my body. Hansen sought out Mr. White. Mr. White looked at Hansen and weirdly said, "Judging from the state of your body, I would say you are fine. What is wrong with you?" "I cannot feel my powers anymore." Hansen told Mr. White about what had happened. Mr. White had Hansen lie down. He inspected Hansen's body and told him that his body was fine. There was no problem with it. If there aren't any problems, then why can I not feel my powers? Hansen was very depressed. He was like a wizard that did not have an element. He could not use his superpowers. It felt terrible. Mr. White thought about it for a moment and told Hansen, "Let me think about this some more. Let me think about this before I give you an answer. You go to Han Yufei and let her do a complete body check for you." Hansen had no other options, so he did just that. He went to see Han Yufei. Han Yufei listened to Hansen's entire tale, including Mr. White's hypothesis. It made her eyes turn bright. She dragged Han-sen to the laboratory. Han-sen's heart jumped. He felt bad. He looked at Han Yufei's face. It looked as if he was now about to go through all sorts of weird torture. I do not want a checkup. Han-sen turned around with the desire of leaving. Do not be afraid. I will be nice to you. Han Yufei put on the white lab gloves. She smiled at Han-sen and dragged him into the lab. Normally, Han-sen could have easily teleported away without Han Yufei being able to catch him. On this day he could not feel his powers. He was like an average person. He could not escape. He was immediately dragged into the lab by Han Yufei. Chapter 33 80 Weird Body Weird. Han Yufei examined Han-sen in various ways. After a while, her eyes seemed brighter. She was holding a laptop, continuously reading the statistics that appeared on the screen. Han-sen emerged from the test chamber and asked Han Yufei, "Do you mind telling me what you found that is so weird?" Han Yufei's discovery was not as scary or concerning as Han-sen thought. She had only been doing ordinary tests. Mostly, she had just taken samples from his body and blood. Han Yufei looked at the test results and said, "Your body is fine. There does not seem to be any issues. If it is fine, why am I no longer able to feel my powers?" Han-sen asked with a frown. Han Yufei raised her head. She looked at Han-sen's body with interest. "That is the problem. Everything about your body is normal. It is too normal. Therein lies the problem. Can you try saying something I might understand?" Han-sen had a wry smile. "How about this? Your body is like a human from the Geno universe who has only just arrived here. The fitness level and data are all at a very basic, average standard. According to this standard, you are at the lowest tier a creature of the universe can be. Any creature that practices will be stronger than you." After that, Han Yufei put her hand on Han-sen's head and squeezed his cheeks. As she did this, she said, "I have performed a few simple pressure tests on your body. The results of the pressure tests tell me your body is normal too. There were no changes. All of the tests indicate no change. If I did not double-check the machine and realize there weren't any problems, I would think the machine was broken, and all the data and test results were nonsense. Take a look at your self-document. You are some freaky scientist surrounded by test tubes and laptops displaying nonsensical data all day. While I feel thrilled, perhaps almost privileged, you think so highly of my intelligence that I can keep up with the gibberish you consistently spout like a cliché. I have to confess and admit that I do not have a clue about what you are saying. So how about slowing it down a bit and explaining things a bit better? What does all this mean?" Han-sen did not understand this. Han Yufei touched Han-sen's chest muscles. With eyes that looked like they were on fire, she said, "Well, the average temperature of a human is around 98.6. According to the environmental temperatures, your body adjusts. Everyone can adjust, but there is a limit to how far one's body can adjust. If your temperature swings too far, your body could end up shutting down. You'll be in a very bad state. You, however, maintain your temperature. No matter how bad the conditions are, your state remains. That is very shocking. We need to conduct some stronger pressure tests to confirm how far your level is," Han Yufei said. "After that, we can make judgments." Han-sen's eyes looked bright. "Are you saying my body is not affected by environmental factors? Does that mean no power can harm me?" Han Yufei shook her head. "According to my theory, yes. Judging from the data collected via my tests, it is not like the theory suggests. Sometimes your body is very stable. At other times, it is too normal. With your test results, if a break-world beast tries to chop you up, your body should not be harmed. But when I use a needle to pierce through your skin and your private part, that goes right against the theory. Is it just my body in a state of adjustment?" Han-sen asked. Han Yufei replied, "That is possible, but I cannot be entirely certain. The maximum and minimum yield too much of a difference. Usually there should not be a big gap." After that, Han Yufei pulled Han-sen into another lab. She walked and said, "I need more data to be more accurate with this stuff. Let's just continue our tests." Han-sen wanted to reject her, but Han Yufei did not care. She dragged him into the lab. Han-sen was thrust into a test chamber. He saw many mechanical arms come toward his body. They were all clutching all sorts of tools and needles. Han Yufei, are you going to cut me open for your research? Seeing so many machines, Han Sen's head felt an itch. Do not worry. Living test subjects are always better than dead test subjects, Han Yufei coldly said. She then operated the machines and had them come even closer to Han Sen's body. Han Sen felt a needle prod into his skin. He felt as if there was even more than one. The pain was not severe, but it still made him feel rather depressed. Suddenly, Han Sen had a flare of goosebumps develop. His body started to tighten. He suddenly exploded with a strange sort of power that blasted all the machinery and mechanical gizmos away. The entire test chamber exploded. All the fluids and pieces of stuff pinged away everywhere. Han Yufei, are you trying to do a test or trick me? Han Sen stared at Han Yufei. He felt a needle go into the important part of a male body. His body reacted, and that had the power explode to destroy everything. Han Yufei put down the umbrella she had used to shield herself from the mess. She pointed to all the bits and pieces on the floor as she said, "If I did not give you some excitement, how was I supposed to tell whether or not your body had a problem? Now that you are fine, we can prove your power is still inside you. You just have a problem feeling it is there." Han Sen was shocked. He looked at the machine pieces, bent needles and drills. He then looked at his body. Earlier he was only just complaining. He did not think much. His body should not have been able to unleash that much power on a whim. Whatever happened earlier resulted in the release of some power that was beyond what his body should have been able to do. He wanted to feel it again, but he could not feel the power anymore. Weird. What is wrong with my body? Am I only allowed to have this power when I feel something exciting? This is so weird. It is like some legendary sort of body type. Han Sen glumly looked at his body. It is simple enough to know the answers, Han Yufei said. We must continue testing. Cough cough. Maybe next time. For now I am busy. I will come back later. Upon imaging his private parts hurting, Han Sen immediately refused Han Yufei. No matter what she said to him, he did not want to do any more tests with her. So he put his clothes on and left. Although the pain had not been too bad for Han Sen, it did not feel great either. If I just need excitement, I can just conduct my own tests. I do not need that devil. Han Sen ran away from the lab, because he was afraid of the mad scientist, Han Yufei. Seeing Han Sen escape, Han Yufei did not plan on pursuing him. She opened her palm and held a broken needle. The contents in the needle made Han Yufei's lips develop a weird smile. After Han Sen left the lab, he went straight to Zero. He thought, wanting excitement is easy. I should just ask Zero to chop me a few times. Chapter 3381 Unknown Power. When Han Sen found Zero, she and Little Angel were learning how to cook with the chef dragon lady. The two of them looked very serious. Han Sen felt really warmed by the sight. When he occasionally came back, it was always Zero and Little Angel who looked after him. His heart melted at the thought. When the three girls saw Han Sen, Dragon Lady Chef called him over. Han Sen spoke to Zero and explained to her why he had come there. Dragon Lady said, "You did not need to find Zero for that. You only have to find me. I am very good when it comes to killing people." Han Sen saw her eyes beam brightly. He thought, I only want Zero to cut me a little. She is going to kill me. Dragon Lady was very excited about pulling Han Sen over to the training yard. Cooking was only Dragon Lady's second favorite thing to do. Her absolute favorite thing to do was catching her prey. Han Sen would have been an excellent hunt. When Han Sen entered the training yard, Lin Feng, Tang Jinliu, Qin Xian, Huang Fujing, and Yi Dongmu were all there already. Lin Feng and Yi Dongmu were in the middle of a fight. Lin Feng's power was definitely defensive-based, whereas Yi Dongmu was all about raw attacks. The two of them were fighting as polar opposites. It was very exciting to see. Han Sen saw their powers were hidden and not being fully revealed. He knew they had already broken the world. Seeing Han Sen arrive, Yi Dongmu and Lin Feng stopped. Dragon Lady explained what was going on and how she wanted Yi Dongmu and Lin Feng to give her the arena. Yi Dongmu's eyes looked bright. He asked Han Sen, "Do you want to get hit? If that's what you want, then why did you not come and ask me? I am very good at killing people." Tang Junliu came over and said, I should be the one to do it. Your skills are too rough. It will be bad if you end up killing Sen Mu. Recently, I have been practicing how to control knife skills. I am very good at controlling my knife. I can promise you that you will not die. You will be injured, but you will not be disabled. Seeing Qin Xian and Huang Fujing's eyes also look bright, Han Sen felt very depressed. What is this guy doing? I only wanted a few hits and they want to kill me. Go, go, go. You are all queuing from behind. I brought him here. I should be the one who gets the first swing. Dragon Lady pushed Yi Dongmu and Tang Junliu away. She was shouting. Han Sen was depressed hearing that. Since he was there, he did not want to leave. So he went to the training yard. Yi Dongmu and Tang Junliu were watching from the outside. They saw Han Sen go up to Dragon Lady. Dragon Lady smiled at Han Senator. She grabbed something from the air, which had the presence of a knife, and a force appear in her hands. She said to Han Sen, tell me where you would like me to cut you. Wherever. Just cut me a few times across the arm. There is no need to go too deep. Just a light mark. Han Sen watched Dragon Lady's presence explode. It was as if she wished to gut him open and skin him alive. He quickly developed a cold sweat. Okay. I will cut your shoulder first. After Dragon Lady said that, her cutlery knife slashed toward Han Sen's arm. In the long time that had passed, Dragon Lady's skills with the knife had matured. The most important thing about her ascension was her ability to now break the world. Her powers and speed had increased. When she slashed down, she was so fast that one could not even see the shape of the knife. Although Han Sen could follow the trail of the knife, he was still shocked. Dragon Lady was very strong. She was not going to just shave his arm. What she was doing was a big chop. It was like she was going to cut his arm right off. If this was before, Han Sen would not have cared for such an attack. It would have been easy to evade it. Now, Han Sen could not feel or sense the incoming power. He did not know if he was able to avoid such a strike. Han Sen stepped forward. He moved faster than he thought he could. He dodged Dragon Lady's knife, which came very close to his clothes. Upon seeing Han Sen evade her knife, Dragon Lady slashed again. Han Sen did not have any power in the movement. His speed did not seem all that fast, but he managed to keep on dodging all of her attacks. Dragon Lady's cutlery knife was cold and flashy. From top to bottom, she did not even manage to touch Han Sen's sleeves. Stop! Dragon Lady seemed to be in a rush. Her left hand held a fork. She tried to perforate Han Sen with it. She wanted to throw Han Sen into the air. Han Sen's body was not frozen by the fork. He was still able to dodge it with ease. Dragon Lady's fork was unable to do anything to Han Sen's body. Dragon Lady gnashed her teeth. Her voice had an old roaring sound in it. Many weapons appeared behind her back. There was a whole wheel of weapons for her to select from. Back in ancient times, weapons were not used for fighting. They were designed for hunting. Eating was all soldiers ever needed. Dragon Lady used all kinds of weapons to attack Han Senator. The weapons in her hands were mysterious. Her skills were very weird and cruel. Every weapon had its own special, unique powers. No matter how much Dragon Lady's skills raged, and no matter how well she performed, she was unable to skewer Han Senator. Han Sen's body was like a thunderstorm, attacking and running. He was always able to do just enough to evade Dragon Lady's attempts. Han Sen thought this was weird too. He no longer sensed when or if he was using power. Yet whenever he needed it, he had the power and speed he needed. It was the precise amount each time. This feeling was extremely weird. Even though Han Sen was not sure about it and what sort of power he was actually using, he knew one thing for sure. His body had not been ruined. He still had a powerful power. It was just that he was unable to feel its existence. Allow me. Seeing Dragon Lady exhaust all her tricks and still failing to hurt Han Sen, Yi Dongmu waltzed right into the training yard. He held a knife, but he did not draw it. He grew stronger with every step he took. He quickly walked up to Han Sen and coldly said, "My break world powers are based on pure speed. When my knife is drawn, people die. You better be careful." Dragon Lady retreated into a corner. Yi Dongmu stepped toward Han Sen as if he was a sea with shocking waves swelling. He pushed his power to the maximum. In the next second, Yi Dongmu's knife was out of its scabbard. Lin Feng and the others thought the knife air was very suppressing. It was like an invisible knife had just slashed their throats, but they did not see the knife light shine. People were shocked. Yi Dongmu's knife was very strong, and they could feel the knife slash their throats by merely watching the man. They did not know Han Sen's situation, so they could not tell if he could block the knife. Han Sen did not plan on blocking it. His body just followed what it saw like the wind. He slowly retreated. Yi Dongmu's knife was coming fast, but it missed. This even shocked Yi Dongmu. After the shock subsided, Yi Dongmu's hands kept going wild with repeated knife strikes. Every swipe of the knife was faster than the last. The slashes were so fast that even the wind was changing color. It was like countless wind blades were dancing. Still, not even one could ruffle the sleeves of Han Sen's clothing. Chapter 3382 Little Uncle returns. Let me do it. Huang Fujing sounded calm. When she walked to the battleground, she suddenly teleported and appeared behind Han Senator. She tried to strike his shoulders with her legs. Han Sen was unable to use his Dongxian aura. He was not supposed to be able to know what Huang Fujing was planning to do to him from behind. Han Sen was still somehow able to see what Huang Fujing was planning to do from behind. He was able to see everything she was doing. His body moved horizontally. He avoided Huang Fujing's attempted strike. Huang Fujing seemed to know that was going to happen. She did not land her strike. She teleported elsewhere. She appeared next to Han Sen and tried striking him down with her legs again. Han Sen did not fall back. He went forehead. He got close to Huang Fujing and followed her body. Huang Fujing's sweep attacks were not working. She was unable to land a hit on Han Senator. Huang Fujing froze. Her body suddenly split up into several copies of herself. With all sorts of different positions and angles to attack from, her clones unleashed all they could. From the sky and the ground, it was like many Huang Fujings were attacking Han Senator. Han Sen's body kept moving. He was like a prophet. He put Huang Fujing's infinite attacks into nothingness. No matter how much raging she unleashed, she was unable to bring harm to Han Senator. Yi Dongmu coldly shouted. He found the right time to push Han Sen into a corner, but Han Sen's body turned. He exited from the corner he was not supposed to be able to leave and avoided Yi Dongmu's attacks. Huang Fujing's infinite teleportation attacks and Yi Dongmu's knives were covering every inch of the training yard. Still, neither of them was able to hurt Han Senator. Han Sen was feeling very good. Although he could not feel the power he was using, and he could not use Geno arts, his body's natural reactions were being honed. He was starting to get used to his new way of fighting. Lin Feng and the others did not strike. Huang Fujing and Yi Dongmu were attacking Han Sen. Yet they were unable to hurt him. Even if they were to join in and try to hurt Han Sen, it would have been pointless. Qin Xian said to Zero, "Zero, you come and give it a go." Zero's powers never missed. If there was someone able to land a hit on Han Sen, it would have had to be Zero. In fact, Han Sen's whole reason for seeking out Zero in the first place was for her to use her falsified Sky Sutra power to see if she could hurt him. He hoped that would trigger his body's power. Zero nodded. She raised her hand like it was a knife. She went silent and tried slashing Han Senator. Zero's falsified Sky Sutra power came raging at Han Sen's arm. She was not trying to kill him. The falsified Sky Sutra had caused power, so it would be the same no matter where it hit. Zero slashed. Han Sen's heart had some kind of alarm. His hands slashed out. It led to the production of a ding and crunching sound. It was like Han Sen's hand broke a glass. Falsified sky power is useless. Your body is fine. It is very strong. Why are you telling us you cannot feel your power? You are merely trying to make us jealous. Tang Junliu sounded angry as he spoke. I really cannot feel any power flowing through me. While I was fighting and affected by your power, it seemed as if my body could still react as it should. Still, it is just me reacting. I cannot feel any power flowing through me. I cannot use power to fight back either. The three of them stopped fighting while Han Sen tried to feel out his own body. He could not detect any power in his body. It was just like an average body. Han Sen conducted a few tests. He noticed his body was rather like a mirror. The stronger the opponent unleashed their power, the more power Han Sen react with it. If the opponent was weak, Hansen's body could not unleash explosive power in response. Therefore, Hansen could not actually control his own power. If the opponent was just a commoner, he could only use the type of powers typically reserved for goons if he fought that person. What is going on here? Hansen did not understand how his body had turned into what it was. Hansen was not happy about the changes, because his body could not use powerful powers. He needed strong enemies to elicit stronger responses. If he met weak people, he would respond appropriately. He could only tie with his opponents. He could not discern the reason why his body had changed this way. Hansen had to wait for Mr. White to come up with answers. Regarding Han Yufei, Hansen did not plan on going back to her. He firmly believed that every researcher was mad. There is no point in me being here, but now I do not have any Geno arts. I cannot go back to the sanctuaries. I will have to ask Little Flower to take me there. Hansen went looking for Little Flower. The sky suddenly flashed. Something changed on the Geno tablet. Leader of the 31st Sky. Wang Yuhang. Hansen looked over. The Geno tablet was shining with a few words. The 31st Sky seemed to be shining as well. A new leader had just risen. Hansen was very happy. Little uncle is not dead. On top of that, he is the leader of the 31st Sky. Wang Yuhang had gone to the 31st Sky, but did not come back. Hansen wanted to go look for him. After thinking about it, he thought he might attract the attention of God Chaos Party and Qin Xiao. That might have gotten Wang Yuhang killed, so he refrained from seeking him out. Upon seeing Wang Yuhang assert a leader seat, Hansen was delighted. People all across Space Garden were joyous about it too. Not long later, a shadow broke space and arrived. It was driving a shiny bike. It was Wang Yuhang. Little uncle, you are interesting. The 31st Sky Leader. Tang Xinliu proclaimed with a laugh. You have just earned humanity a bunch of reputation in the Geno universe. Wang Yuhang looked rather morbid. Stop talking. I almost died. What happened? Everyone asked him about what happened. Wang Yuhang wanted to speak, but he did not. He did not say anything more. He went up to Hansen and pulled him aside. Sanmu, get over here. There is something I would like to ask you. After getting pulled aside by Wang Yuhang, Hansen asked, What is it, little uncle? Wang Yuhang looked around to ensure no one was around. He put his face next to Hansen and quietly asked, Sanmu, do you know a very beautiful woman? Hansen didn't think Wang Yuhang was making sense, so he replied, Little uncle, I know many beautiful women. Which one are you talking about? Wang Yuhang quickly said, A beautiful woman you seem to know can break the sky. Do you mean the woman who has the power to be a leader? Hansen asked. Stronger than that. When I was trapped in the 31st Sky, she hurt me badly. I was almost unable to return. She said she let me live for your sake. It was pathetic. Wang Yuhang felt angry. What did she look like? What did you do? Hansen looked at Wang Yuhang with curiosity. To make Wang Yuhang angry, that woman must have done something pretty savage. I do not know what she looks like, because she wore a white mask. I could not see her face, but she said she was your friend. I do not know if it was a real friend or not. When I became the leader of the 31st Sky, she was still able to travel freely through the 33 skies. Her powers are really scary. She told me to tell you that you should not return to the 33 skies. Chapter 33 83 Test Subject. Why can I not go to the 33 skies? Hansen asked with a frown. She said you cannot enter the 33 skies again. Wang Yuhang said. If you do need to go, you must at least bring Bao'er there. What else did she say to you? Hansen asked. Nothing. Wang Yuhang shook his head. If someone knows about Bao'er, it is likely Big Sky Demon. Although Hansen guessed that, he did not think it seemed quite right. If it was Big Sky Demon, she would not want to expose Bao'er to risks. He did some research alongside Wang Yuhang, but he was unable to find out who that woman could have been. So, Hansen had to shelve his thoughts related to it for now. Plus, Hansen was not planning on returning to the 33 skies anyway. After sending Wang Yuhang away, he called Little Flower to come over. He was going to have Little Flower take him back to the sanctuaries. Hansen was worried about his body being repelled by the sanctuaries, but nothing like that happened. While he was in the sanctuaries, he felt as if he was in the Geno universe. There were no differences. His body was able to adjust to the sanctuaries quite easily. Back in the sanctuaries, I would not be repelled by the sanctuaries. After getting used to the pressure of the Geno universe, going back to the sanctuaries will have me feeling a bit lightheaded. Right now I don't feel anything. Hansen knew his body was not normal. He went looking for Chaos and Bao'er with Little Flower. He wanted to see how Bao'er was doing, and he wanted Chaos to see what had happened to his body. Little Flower. Dad. Bao'er was happy to see them. She went to hold both of their hands. Ah, there is my little Bao'er. Tell me, how is your practice coming along? Hansen stroked Bao'er's head. Bao'er's happy face was wiped away in a second. She looked depressed as she said, "Nothing. The gourd vine is not listening to me." The black crystal armor-shaped Chaos arrived. She coldly said, "When the genes combine, it needs progress. There is no need to rush these things. We still have some time before Qin Xiu becomes reboot class." Hansen had a few thoughts on his mind, so he asked, "Why don't we do it before Qin Xiu levels up to reboot class? Don't we have a higher chance of losing after he reaches reboot class?" Chaos explained, "In fact, we need to wait until Qin Xiu becomes reboot class, so the Geno prototype armor completely combines. That way we can destroy it. Before that, even if we kill him, we cannot stop his soul from reincarnating. His next life will be even scarier." Seeing Hansen and Little Flower failing to understand, Chaos further explained. Qin Xiu's past life was when he was the Wu Wei Dao Alpha. The Wu Wei Dao Alpha tried to escape the control of the ultimate egg. He paid a high price to succeed. It ended up limiting Qin Xiu's potential. This time, if Qin Xiu reincarnates again, his genes will be too strong to imagine. By then, even without any Geno prototype armor, he will be able to accomplish the final step. Then no one will be able to control him. If the Geno Hall leader wants to kill Qin Xiu, does that mean we can actually choose to sit back and sip alcoholic beverages while not doing anything? Hansen asked. After all, that annoying geezer will have to reincarnate. Why don't we just not do anything while he does that? I mean, all the spirits that reincarnate have to go through the Geno Hall. Let's not mention that Qin Xiu is already very strong. Aside from Bao'er, I don't think anyone can kill him. Even if they could, I doubt they could annihilate the spirit. He has a reboot class God Spirit blood pulse. When he reincarnates, he will not have to pass through the Geno Hall. Chaos denied Hansen's train of thought. Who is Qin Xiu? Hansen could not help but ask this question again. Hansen thought Chaos would not answer him. After he went quiet a little, Chaos sighed and said, "It is fine for me to tell you. Human Alpha is me and Bao'er's father's test subject." Test subject. Hansen looked at Chaos with an expression of shock. Chaos smiled. Back then, me and Bao'er's father were like water and fire. He was the God Hall leader who ruled the universe. And I wanted to replace him to become the leader of the universe. We kept trying to find ways we could beat each other, but we would only tie every time. Neither of us won. The universe was destroyed because of us. If it was to continue, even if one of us prevailed, only a broken universe full of holes would have been left. That was not what we wanted. So me and Bao'er's father thought of a different way in which we might fight. We made a bet to see who could lead the universe. What kind of bet would that be? Little Flower asked with curiosity. The power of the universe is boundless, Chaos coldly said. Every power can be pushed to its max potential. Things can even be invincible, but there is only one power that can have someone labeled as a creator. Making life. Hansen suddenly understood. Chaos nodded. Yes, it was to create life. Me and Bao'er's father made a bet as to which of us could produce a better life. Then that person would be the leader of the universe. Was that how Human Alpha was born? Even Little Flower was able to understand what was going on. It was not at the beginning. Early on, me and Bao'er's father created a different life. We kept trying to perfect it. We kept trying to fix the flaws in the genes, hoping to suppress each other. After saying that, Chaos' eyes looked strange. She smiled a little and said, "The people who know you the most are not your best friends or family. They are your enemies. As me and Bao'er's father researched, the more we learned about each other. The more we learned, the more we came to admire each other. It led to a relationship that was not one of rivalry. Hansen thought, you guys were great. How could you fight and then have sex? No one can do that. Hansen did not dare say that out loud, but he had a question pop up in his mind. He said, you guys created life. One of them was Human Alpha. Who was the other? Human Alpha was made by Bao'er's father. The life I created was the witch. Chaos smiled and went on to say, although our relationship had some changes, we both really wanted to win. So we kept our bet going. Neither of us wanted to lose this gambit. Then we put genes into the life forces. Hansen never expected this was how the witch came to be born. It was no wonder why so many of the witches were so scary. The genes they possessed were top class. Chaos stopped smiling. She sighed and said, now we are not so proud. If it was not for us, none of this would be happening. It is a shame our pride got in the way back then. Neither of us was willing to admit we lost. Neither of us wanted to take a step back. We kept on fighting. Chapter 3384. Back to the 33 skies. Hansen could not help but ask, what happened after that? It does not matter. In the end, Human Alpha had my genes and the genes of Bao'er's father. With the modifications we did to him, he was already almost the most perfect life force in existence that had reboot powers and the Geno prototype armor powers. Chaos looked at Bao'er and said, when we realized the problem, it was already too late. Human Alpha's evolutions were out of control. Even me and Bao'er's father were unable to control Human Alpha. In the end, Bao'er's father had to reboot the universe. Other people think it was a fight between me and Bao'er's father, but that was why the universe was rebooted. As a matter of fact, it was not us. It was because of Human Alpha. That means Bao'er and Qin Xiu are, in some way, quite similar. They possess your genes and the genes of the previous God Hall leader. Hansen was finally able to understand why Qin Xiu was so strong and had the power to reboot the universe. Not exactly, Chaos said. He has our genes, but his genes were already very strong. It was through our genes that he became nearly perfect. Aside from Bao'er, no other creature has the potential to be as great as Qin Xiu. Hansen stood still and thought. After all of that, after all those disasters, it was all because of you people. Now, Bao'er is the one that has to wipe your asses. Hansen did not like this, but there was nothing he could do. Still, Hansen did not know what happened to influence Chaos into not telling him why Human Alpha was so keen on killing everyone. Ugh, do you know what? This is really starting to bore me. We're obviously building up to a grand finale. While I would love a big payoff to all that has happened in my life, I don't think I am going to get it. Why? My body. Unfortunately, I am not sure if I am going to be of much use. So, let's skip that conversation and start talking about me for a minute. Quite dishearteningly, my body has a problem. Since you are you, I was hoping you might be able to have a look and see what exactly is going wrong with me. Hansen told Chaos about everything that had happened to him. Chaos put her hands on Hansen's chest. She put some power into Hansen's body for the purposes of examination. When her body went to Hansen's body, it immediately vanished. It was like Hansen's body was a bottomless hole. Her power was unable to create a splash. Chaos looked more shocked than ever. She kept looking at Hansen's body. She said, the sanctuaries, the Geno Hall, and the Geno tablet already existed when the universe was first created. The power of the universe is weaker now, but the level of the sanctuaries was never any lower than the Geno Hall and the Geno tablet. By using the sanctuaries, I discovered that the evolution modules of the sanctuaries were special. When things were rebooted, Bao'er was sent there. I hoped Bao'er would be able to use powers learned in the sanctuaries to grow up. Regarding the final level up of the sanctuaries, I do not know. If you want to use the powers of the sanctuaries to evolve, it is not easy. The fact you humans were able to have the protection of the sanctuaries was a miraculous accident. According to the theory, only the spirits in the sanctuaries should have been the lives in the sanctuaries. Normally, only they were able to enjoy what it was like to level up in the sanctuaries. Chaos looked at Hansen's body and said, If my powers are still here, even just 1%, I should be able to check out your body, but I am still too weak and cannot do such a thing. Han Sen was disappointed. If Chaos could not tell what had happened to his body, he had no clue who might have been able to help him. Han Sen still had some hope and asked Chaos, with my situation being what it is there no way for me to complete the final step? Chaos looked certain as she said, impossible. If you make that final step, your body's genes will be above the universe's limit. Whatever you do will affect the rules of the universe. It will create mass destruction. It will not be as peaceful as before. When you combined with Wuxia, the power used was almost unlimited. Can you feel it in the way you felt it before? Han Sen shook his head. His situation was different from what it was before. Nothing was the same. Chaos looked at Han Sen and asked, can you still control the ultimate egg? Han Sen shook his head. After evolving, I have not been able to feel the ultimate egg's presence. The humans in the sanctuaries have Qin Xiu's genes. The ultimate egg is to control Qin Xiu. According to the theory, you cannot absorb the ultimate egg. Now you cannot feel the ultimate egg. This is weird. Chaos spoke with a frown. She could not think of a solution. Chaos did not want to waste too much time. She continued teaching Bao'er about the gourd. Han Sen was going to research the conditions of his body, hoping to find a way to harness its current state. Chaos wanted a Geno tablet fight where Bao'er could defeat Qin Xiu. She thought that if Bao'er combined with the gourd vine, she could win. When the Geno tablets battles were in the final few, Bao'er would only have to focus on Qin Xiu. She did not have to worry about Qin Xiu's break world creatures. Of course, that meant Bao'er had to be the first sky leader before the 33 skies were owned all by others. Then, she could participate in the Geno tablet fight. Han Sen had not been in Burning Red Sky for a while. The role of Burning Red Sky leader had been taken away by this point, leaving only Wang Yuhang with a leadership position in the 33 skies. I cannot allow Bao'er to face Qin Xiu alone. I must get a seat for myself again. Han Sen thought about doing this, but he knew he couldn't. Han Sen spent a lot of time researching his body, but nothing he tried seemed to work. Whoever he fought would obviously be stronger, but he could not control that strength. More and more leadership positions in the 33 skies were taken. Now, only 3 of the skies had not birthed a leader. When all the leaders were born, the Geno tablet fight would begin. Bao'er's progress had not been going too well either. Bao'er had been unable to combine with the gourd vine. Her power was strong, but not strong enough to break through the universe. Another sky lit up. Ancient Devil's name appeared. There were only 2 more skies now. No. I must get 1 sky. Han Sen could no longer wait. He had to get a sky for himself. If he did not, he would not be able to participate in the Geno tablet fight. Han Sen explained what he was going to do to the people in Sky Garden. Ningyu, who was wearing green and feathery clothes, walked up to Han Sen and said, I will come with you. His body's presence had become weird. When Han Sen looked at him, he asked with shock, have your break world genes reached 100? Chapter 33 85 times Skyning You nodded. My super god spirit body finished evolving. When Han Sen heard him, his eyes went bright. He asked, what is the difference with you now after your super god spirit body finished evolving? My super god spirit body became an ultimate super god spirit body. It is just stronger, Ningyu casually said. Han Sen had a complex look almost immediately after hearing that. Ningyu's super god spirit body had evolved to an ultimate version of the super god spirit body compared to Han Sen, whose super god spirit body was reduced to nothing. It was frustrating. The super god spirit body is dependent on one's karma, Han Sen depressingly stated. Ningyu looked at Han Sen, who was standing still, and asked, are you going or are you not going? I am going. Han Sen's mind returned to the present. He then followed Ningyu. They broke space and raced to the 33 skies. Because the 33 skies only had 2 empty layers of sky left, the skies that already had a leader were difficult to breach. Usually, they would have teleported to the skies that did not have an owner. Han Sen and Ningyu did not get close to the barrier of the 33 skies. There were lots of break-world beasts on the search for Han Senator. They immediately roared and came for him. "Let me take care of this," Ningyu coldly said. He plucked a feather from his feathery clothing. He waved it at the break-world beasts. A beautiful green halo was emitted. The bodies of the break-world beasts that touched the green halo became a green light that dissolved. Within the blink of an eye, a dozen break-world beasts were turned into nothingness. The last break-world gene was floating in the air. The scene seemed frozen. The break-world beasts behind them were in shock. They all retreated. None of them dared to go for Han Sr. "Let's go." Ningyu went to 33 skies, which looked like a big tombstone. The break-world beasts surrounding the 33 skies formed a path for them. "Very good." Hansen's gave a thumbs up. Ningyu's power was so scary, his super god spirit body was wildly different. Hansen started wondering what the ultimate super god spirit body of Qin Xian and the others might be like. He couldn't comprehend how scary their combined powers would be. The God Chaos Party and all other parties would be immediately destroyed. Ningyu used his feathers to swing. The barriers of the 33 skies were cut open. He walked in and disappeared. Hansen wanted to follow Ningyu to enter, but the gap in the barrier was gone the moment Ningyu entered. Hansen felt bad about this. He used his own body to go to the invisible wall, but his body could not use any power because he did not currently have an enemy. Hansen did not have any power, so he did not know if he could break through the invisible wall. When Hansen hit the invisible wall, it was like he hit nothing. He just went straight through. It was like no Bisema existed in the first place. Padong. Hansen's body fell. When Hansen landed, the impact of his fall created a massive circular crater in the ground. Hansen checked out the crater. He discovered that the place he was in now was incredibly weird. In the sky, there were lots of giant rocky objects that were like a watch. The watches were the sizes of stones. There were some big ones, and there were others that were small. The small ones were about the size of a baseball field. Some of the bigger ones were about the size of a planet. Hands were depicting the hours and minutes. Obviously, they were not real watches. They did not move as a clock did. The hands were stiff in their places and did not move. Hansen had landed on a stone watch that was kind of like an island. Hansen knew he had entered the 29th sky. There were only 2 skies left with no owners. The 29th sky was called Time Sky. From what he was seeing, he knew he was correct about his current location. Although he knew Time Sky's name, Hansen did not know why there was still no leader. According to theory, many people should have been able to enter the 29th sky. Yet no leader had yet to emerge. Hansen came out from the hole. He walked to the edge of the watch and looked around. He did not notice Ningyu around him. He did not even know if he too had been deposited in Time Sky. Han Sr., while Hansen was looking around, he heard someone call his name. That voice was very familiar. He looked in the direction where the voice had come from. Above him, he saw a stone watch that was the size of a football stadium. A man was standing on the edge of that watch. He was looking at him from above. "Ancient Devil, what are you doing here? Did you not already take a sky for yourself and become its leader?" Hansen had a shocked expression as he looked at Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil did not speak. He jumped down and landed close to Han. Senator Hansen wished to say something, but Ancient Devil performed a gesture to stop Hansen and said, "There is no time. The next time will is going to start. You need to listen up. The time around here can affect the speed time goes by. When the time wheel starts to spin, time will go fast forward differently. It might even reverse. You will be affected if you are in a certain time area." Hansen immediately sensed how serious this was. He frowned and asked, "How fast does the time go by?" "When it slows, it can be slow," Ancient Devil said. "When it is fast, it can be very fast. One moment could take 1,000 years. For a human and their lifespan, you might die on a watch in 1 second. Either that, or you will devolve and become a sperm. Is there any way not to be affected by this?" Hansen asked. "There is no way. Every time the time wheel starts to spin, the speeds are different from the last time. It all depends on your luck. Hopefully you will go to a time area where time is slowed down." Ancient Devil paused and said, "Or you can find a sky watch in Time Sky. If you manage to control it, You will become the leader of Time Sky. How do I find that? Hansen asked. If people knew where to find it, many break-world creatures would not be trapped here. Ancient Devil pointed to somewhere far away. There was a big dragon that looked like a diamond carving. It was traveling through the rock watches. That is one of Qin Xiu's break-world beasts, Ancient Devil quietly said. Its break-world rate is at least 95%. The last time the time wheel spun, it was hurt by time. It lost the scales on its body, and its break-world rate went down to 60%. Hansen did not understand and asked, why did God Hall Leader not send Moment God, a time god spirit here? This was a time area sky. Whether it was Moment God or God Chaos Party's Ichi, either of them should have been able to control such a place with ease. Chapter 3386 Time Wheel Spins. Ancient Devil smiled. It is because this place is a time element sky. That is why they did not dare come. What is that supposed to mean? Hansen did not really understand the way Ancient Devil was thinking. Ancient Devil said, it is easy to understand. It is like the way many machines are affected by electromagnetic pulses. Time here can change its speed. 4 time element beings. That can cause a great disturbance. If they fought here, they would have to figure out how to fix the disturbance problem. Other power elements are not as affected here. They can fight here. The more powerful you are with time elements, the worse you will be in Time Sky. Of course, if their time power can go beyond Time Sky, none of this can affect them. If you were able to control time element elites will not be affected here. They would be invincible. Now no one has a time power that can exceed Time Sky. Hansen understood what Ancient Devil told him. He wished to say something, but he heard the sound of an old grandfather clock. He did not know where that sound came from. It sounded very cold as it echoed throughout all of Time Sky. It was not very sharp, but it went very far. Every creature in Time Sky could hear the chiming. Ancient Devil looked around and said, time is up. Are you planning to stay here to try your luck? Would you prefer pushing your luck elsewhere? I am going wherever you are going, Hansen said with a smile. Ancient Devil did not say anything in response. He flew toward a smaller stone clock. Hansen followed him. Hansen's knowledge of Time Sky was limited. He could not tell if the stone clocks were going clockwise or counterclockwise. Ancient Devil had been there for a while, so he was still fine. Hansen still felt that there had to be something odd about it. Ancient Devil stood atop the stone clock and said, I do not have many good ideas. I am just going to try my luck. This stone clock is small, so the effects are not as strong. Later, if time goes too fast here, we will have to hurry up and go to another time area. The bell was still chiming. It kept chiming and chiming. It was far away and really mysteriously. After thinking about something, Hansen asked, is this clock going to ring every hour? Ancient Devil said, you guessed it almost correctly. Time Sky's clock chiming is a way to tell time. It rings once every 2 hours from 1 to 12. After the bell rings, it will go into a time loop. The time loop will last 1 hour, and there will be 11 soundings. Hansen wanted to say something, but he heard the sound of something screaming. There was a dragon in flight not too far away. It had the head of a drill. It looked like it was searching for which stone clock to stop at, but it kept picking and choosing without commitment. It was obviously hesitating quite a bit. It didn't stop anywhere. The diamond-like big dragon was still hesitant. The 11 bell chimes were already done. In the next second, Hansen saw the stone clock start spinning. The stone clock needle kept spinning. It went faster, then it went slower. When it was slow, it jumped every block. When it was fast, it was like a fan. It was like the whole world was spinning. Ancient Devil and Hansen looked at the stone clock below them. If that stone clock went too fast, they would have to get out of there regardless of if it reversed or spun straight. Of course, before they left, they would have to find a way to escape the time zone. Fortunately, beneath their feet, the clock's spinning speed was normal. It was a little bit faster though. It was around 2 or 3 times faster than a normal clock. If they stood there for 1 hour, to other people it meant it would be 2 or 3 hours. Hansen felt relieved. When he looked at Ancient Devil, Hansen noticed Ancient Devil seemed a bit more relaxed now too. When Hansen looked at the diamond-like big dragon, his face changed. The dragon did not look so good. It had been choosing for so long and had not decided on a spot to land. Now the clock's needle was spinning faster than an airplane's propeller. One could not even see the needles properly. The diamond-like dragon roared. It tried escaping to another stone clock's area. As soon as it started flying, its body looked weird. It was becoming smaller. Hansen had to watch a scary scene unfold. A giant dragon's body flew 300 feet away, with its body shrinking. What was once a big dragon had been turned into the size of a dinosaur. From a dinosaur, it turned into the size of an elephant. It then was the size of a crocodile. Before long, it was the size of a lizard. The dragon was unable to escape the area of the stone clock. It turned into a crystal-looking egg. Since it had a rushed personality, it quickly rushed out of the scary reverse time zone to reach a different time zone. In the other time zone, time went by much slower. The gene egg was floating in the air. It looked like a flawless diamond. After watching all of this, Hansen felt a chill. He saw a scary break-world beast be beaten into an egg. It was very shocking to witness. Although Hansen had a similar power, it was not a time element. It did not look as shocking. That big dragon was an ultimate gene race, Ancient Devil said. If you are interested in it, wait until the time wheel is over. Then you can go over there and take it. If you are not interested, I will do it myself. Hansen did not mind that. He went toward that area. At this time, break-world beasts were no longer rare. No matter how high of a break-world rate a break-world beast had, it was still entirely dependent on talent. The break-world rate of rare gene races was still exceedingly high. The time will spun for an hour. In the next hour, people were able to do things while Time Sky was no longer a place of danger. Looking around at all the different clock areas, it was clear that some areas did not spin fast. Ancient Devil flew over to one of them. He was looking for a time clock. Ancient Devil waved to Hansen and said, "You and I came here for the sky clock. We should not be working together, so we should part ways for now." Hansen did not plan on leaving Ancient Devil's side. After taking the gene egg, he followed him. He smiled and asked, "Ancient Devil, did you not already earn the leadership position of another sky? Why are you here in Time Sky?" "I have a plan, and it is my own." Ancient Devil did not plan on answering Hans Senator, seeing that Ancient Devil was not going to answer. Hansen didn't try to force him. Still, he did not leave. He just went silent and followed Ancient Devil. Hansen did not know if it was just because his body was slow or what, but he could not feel as the time clock did anything to him. Hansen was not entirely sure about it. He did not know if it was just because he could not feel the power or whether or not the time zones really could not affect his body. Chapter 3387 Floating Kill. Elder Hansen was behind Ancient Devil. He kept walking silently. When the next stone clock rang, the danger was considerably less. The speed of time in different areas could be segmented. As long as one did not have a death wish, one would be fine. Hansen wanted to ask Ancient Devil if he fought against Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon over the relics. If he asked that, Ancient Devil would know he had been there. Therefore, Hansen did not ask him anything about that. Ancient Devil kept walking. He eventually said, "It is pointless to keep on following me. I do not know where the sky clock is. I am only trying my luck like you. You are luckier than me, so following you gives me a better chance." Hansen did not do anything. He carried on following Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil kept walking and said, "The sky clock is hidden amongst the stone clocks, but no one knows which one is the sky clock. You do not look like someone who would come to a place on a complete whim. You would not just come here and risk your neck on a chance." Hansen understood Ancient Devil too much. Ancient Devil sighed and said, "Whatever. I can teach you how to find the sky clock. In exchange, you cannot follow me anymore." Hansen squinted his eyes and asked, "Why are you so afraid of me following you? Do you already know where the sky clock is?" Ancient Devil felt bad. He shook his head. "If I knew where the sky clock was, it would not take me this long to seek it out. I just do not want you following me. Every time you follow me, something bad happens. Even if I am lucky enough to find it, You will only end up taking it away from me. Why should I waste my time here? If you are going to keep on following me, I will just stop looking. Hansen rubbed his nose. Ancient Devil was right. Every time he followed Ancient Devil, the man was put at a disadvantage. If Ancient Devil stopped looking, it would not benefit Han. Senator Hansen said, "Fine. Tell me how to find the sky clock. We will both try our luck in separate ways. First, you must answer my question. Do you want to know why I became the leader of a sky, but still came to Time Sky? Is that it?" Ancient Devil inquired. "Yes," Hansen said with a nod. Ancient Devil was silent a moment before saying, "I can tell you that I did not come to Time Sky for the leadership position. I am here for the sky clock." "What is the difference?" Hansen asked with a frown. "Of course there is a difference," Ancient Devil said. "When you obtain the sky clock, you do not have to be the leader. If I get the sky clock, I can still give up being the leader of another sky to become Time Sky's leader. That would be the best result." "What do you want to do with the sky clock?" Hansen asked. "The sky clock can speed up and reverse time," Ancient Devil said. "I need it to accomplish one thing. You are only allowed to ask one question of me. I have already answered you." "Fine. Tell me how to find the sky clock." Hansen understood Ancient Devil, so he stopped asking. Ancient Devil told Hansen which direction to go to find the sky clock. He then left. "Goodbye," Hansen said as a friendly goodbye to Ancient Devil. "I think it would be best if we never met again." Ancient Devil did not turn back as he left. He was not like Hansen, who was acting all clingy. Hansen felt bad. He licked his lips. If he were able to follow Ancient Devil, he would have a much higher chance of finding the sky clock. He knew he could not bully the man too much. If Ancient Devil really got angry, he would not be able to find the sky clock. Plus, Ancient Devil might even kill him. Now that Ancient Devil was gone, Hansen looked around and went in a different direction. Ancient Devil had taught him an easy method. It sounded dumb, but it worked. The sky clock was amidst the countless stone clocks that made up the realm. No matter how hard one looked, nothing stood out to indicate that one clock was the sky clock. To see the sky clock, one needed to try each stone clock one by one. The sky clock and ordinary clocks all looked the same, but the needles of the sky clock were different from the usual needles of stone clocks. He just needed to try the needles. He would then be able to tell if something was a sky clock or not. There were countless numbers of stone clocks in Time Sky. To try each needle on each clock over and over, and to try each one, there was no telling how long such an endeavor would take. Therefore, it was all down to luck. It was like winning a lottery. If one were lucky, one would get the jackpot on the first go. If one was unlucky, one would have to keep trying to the end. Hansen had no choice. He had to rely on the method Ancient Devil had told him about. Now the needle was spinning. The method was not going to work. He had to wait until the needle stopped before trying it. Ancient Devil did not try it here, so I bet he has already given the stone clocks here a go. Let me go elsewhere. Hansen had come too late. He did not know if the stone clocks he was at had already been tested, so he had to keep trying them one by one. After walking for a short while, he saw a few break-world creatures gathering on the opposite side of a stone clock. The one at the center of the assembly was the leader. He was a God Chaos Party elder. Hansen had seen him while he engaged in the last big battle against the organization. "Hansen, where are you going to run this time?" The elder saw Hansen too. He immediately had a few break-world beasts accompany him to surround Han. Senator Hansen could not run fast, and there were not that many areas to run to. The directions he could choose to escape were quite limited. "Are you guys not leaving?" Hansen checked out the elder and break-world beasts. He did not care all that much about them. He had a low battle power. When he met stronger foes, he fought harder. It would not have been easy for the elder and his break-world beasts to try and kill him. "Our leader wants you to die. That means you will not be allowed to live. My name is Floating Kill. After you die, never forget that I was the one who killed you." After Floating Kill spoke, he raised his hands. He pulled out a building tower and threw it at Han. Senator. That tower was comprised of 18 floors. It glowed with golden light. It was like a god tower. The moment it left his hands, it headed straight for Hansen's head. Although Hansen sped himself up to avoid the suppression of the tower, he looked at the tower coming right before his face. Floating Kill was shocked. His floating kill had locked onto a target, so he should not have been able to escape. Yet Hansen was able to dodge the floating kill's suppression. He was surprised by this. Almost at the same time, 5 break-world beasts roared. All kinds of powers covered the sky and the ground, including wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. It was all going for Han Sr. The break-world powers were very scary. They almost covered the entire stone clock's area. Hansen's power was still running around. He did not seem to be affected. Floating Kill was secretly shocked. The 5 break-world beasts around him had a break-world rate of 60% or above. Even if they could not defeat Hansen, they should have been able to damage him. Upon seeing Hansen's face, Floating Kill knew he had only moved with simple coordination. He had still managed to play the 5 break-world beasts like a fiddle. Chapter 3388 Suppress. As Floating Kill watched what was happening, he noticed that Hansen's movement abilities were very magical. He also realized that the distances he crossed were never all that far. Every time he dodged the attack of a break-world beast, it was as if he already knew what to expect. After a while, Floating Kill noticed the time. He used the Sky Treasure Tower. The tower grew very large. It was like it was covering the sky and the ground. It covered the entire time area they were in. Hansen's location was limited. If he wanted to avoid the suppression of the tower, he would have to quickly get to another stone clock's area. The stone clock was spinning faster than a plane's propeller. If Hansen went in there, he would lose thousands of years. If he was able to hold strong against it, it would have likely been fine. If he couldn't withstand the magic, he would instantly grow old and die. Hansen was not sure if his body could withstand the force, so he stopped dodging and allowed the Sky Treasure Tower to come down. Because the tower was covering the entire area, the 5 break-world beasts were inside with him too. All of them were extremely shocked. They wildly flew around, desperately wanting to get away from the tower. Hansen felt as if everything around was filling up with golden light. He and the 5 break-world beasts in the tower were all seeing gold. The tower was gold. It looked like it was made of gold, but that tower was different to the average tower. Ordinary towers had floors. This tower looked as if it had 18 floors. On the inside, however, there were no floors. One was able to see all the way up, from the bottom to the top. The walls of the towers were inscribed with golden spells. It also appeared as if there were many statues leading the way to the roof. The 5 beasts and a man were inside the tower. Many of the golden spells were shining brightly. The tower had become very bright. It was like there were countless suns in the sky shining brightly. It was so bright that it made it difficult to open one's eyes. Hansen's eyes did not feel anything. He was able to see everything within that golden light. Hansen thought the golden light was only bright and could not actually do anything to him. He thought that because his body was not impacted in the least. When he looked at the 5 break-world beasts, he was shocked. The 5 break-world beasts had just entered the tower. They were all in shock, scrambling in a desperate bid to escape the place. The golden spells suddenly shone with a golden god light that frozen their bodies in the shape of monstrous gold statues. Their bodies had been frozen in their prior motion of trying to flee. They looked as if they were in a rush. Hansen's heart jumped. These 5 break-world beasts had a break-world rate of at least 60%. They might not be the strongest, but they have to be among the strongest in the universe. That golden god light just shone on them, and turned them into statues. The golden god light is very strong, and it shone on me. Floating Kill does not plan on letting me live. I should be like them, but I am not. That must mean my body really is different. While Hansen was lost in thought, he saw the 5 gold statues start to melt. They became a gold blood-like puddle of liquid on the ground. That is a very evil power. Hansen frowned. The golden god light had turned all the creatures into gold statues. It then made the gold statues turn into a puddle of blood water. It was a very evil construct. It would not let anyone live. Outside the tower, Floating Kill looked very happy. He took away the now minimized Sky Treasure Tower by placing it in his hands. He looked at the shining tower of golden light and said to himself, This sky-floating kill can truly melt everything. Even the Undying can block the power of the sky-floating kill. Han Sen will only live 1 or 2 days inside here before becoming blood water. If that happens, I will have accomplished a great deed for my master. Mr. Leader can flip the Geno Hall and rebuild the God Palace. I will be regarded as a high-level member then. Floating Kill was feeling very cocky, but he did not dare underestimate things. He kept using power to make the sky-floating kill's golden spell brighter. He wanted to speed up Han Sen becoming blood water. Regarding the 5 Breakworld beasts, Floating Kill did not care about them. If he was able to kill Han Sen through their sacrifice, it was all worth it. Plus, it was only 5 Breakworld beasts. He would easily be able to get such things back. With Qin Xiu's method, making Breakworld beasts was easy. Floating Kill did not want to risk Han Sen getting free by trying to save the 5 Breakworld beasts. Han Sen was someone Qin Xiu cared about a great deal. Floating Kill did not dare get in the way. Normally, creatures that had a 95% Breakworld rate would melt inside his Tower of Doom. Floating Kill planned on taking half a month to produce more Breakworld beasts while also killing Han Senator. He was not going to give Han Sen a second chance. Suddenly, Floating Kill turned around to look at the stone clock near him. The stone clock was flying very fast. It was almost moving like a fan. Time had been fast-forwarded many times. Floating Kill thought. If the sky-floating kill was in the stone clock's area, 1 moment would be 10 months. If he was inside there, he must have already died. He decided to take the sky-floating kill out. Under the control of Floating Kill, the sky-floating kill flew to the designated area. It landed on a clock's needle, which was spinning as fast as a fan. The sky-floating kill was affected by the speed of time. 1 moment equaled a few hours. Now the 5 gold statues had started to melt. Han Sen was watching it happen. His body, however, was not feeling bad at all. A moment later, a gold statue completely melted into gold blood water. However, there was a teardrop left behind. It was a Breakworld gene. It did not melt. It sat in the blood water. Han Sen reached out his hand to collect the Breakworld gene. The other 4 Breakworld beasts were going to completely melt soon as well. Although I am not afraid of the tower's power, how am I supposed to get out of here? Han Sen's body became stronger the moment he encountered something fierce. Now there were not any enemies. He did not know how to use his body's power to break the sky-floating kill. Han Sen was not in a rush to break the sky-floating kill. After a while, another Breakworld beast became gold blood water. He picked up all the Breakworld genes. Let's try it now. Han Sen put the Breakworld gene away and looked around. He did not see any doors or windows. He walked in front of a wall. Han Sen reached his hand out to touch the golden wall. The golden spells were still releasing a scary god light, but Han Sen could not feel any energy floating. The golden god light was releasing ordinary, harmless light. Han Sen raised his fist to have a look. He then threw a punch at the golden wall. Chapter 3389A Fist Kills Floating Kill. Floating Kill looked at the sky floating kills area. Time was going by incredibly quickly. 20 minutes of ordinary time had already passed. Converting it into the time clock's passing of time, 2 to 3 months had gone by. Even if Han Sen's Breakworld rate was at the almighty sum of 99%, he should have been refined by now, Floating Kill thought. To play it safe, he did not bring back his sky floating kill just yet. He let it remain in the area, readying himself for its retrieval when the displacement of time had gone by. Only then would he bring back the sky floating kill. Suddenly, a golden light was coming from the sky floating kill. It was shaking. In the next second, the whole of the sky floating kill exploded. It became small bits of sand that scattered about everywhere. Han Sen's body fell out from within it. It seemed that it had not done him any harm. It had not reduced him to blood water. Not even his clothes had been harmed by the time he had spent inside it. Blurred. When the sky floating kill shattered, Floating Kill coughed up a bevy of blood to coincide with it. His eyes opened wide. He looked at Han Sen's unharmed figure in complete disbelief. Han Sen looked at his fists and froze in place. It had been a random punch. It was not some extreme power that he had mustered, but the miraculously solid sky Floating Kill had still been rendered little more than dust in the wind. When Floating Kill reacted, he instantly turned around and wanted to run away. A chill was running down his spine. His heart was even colder. The sky Floating Kill, boosted by the wretched advance of time, had been unable to damage Han's senator therefore. How scary could such a man's body be? Aside from Qin Xiu, Floating Kill had never witnessed someone so scary. He knew he would be unable to fight Han's senator. Floating Kill did not dare hang around and fight Han's senator. He wished he could run faster. Floating Kill had not seen someone this scary ever before. Since he knew he would not be able to beat Han's son, Floating Kill did not dare stay there and fight the man. The stone clock was still spinning, so he could not escape. Floating Kill kept traveling between the stone clock areas in a desperate bid to escape. Unfortunately, the speed of every clock area was different. Floating Kill was heavily affected by each of them. It was fine to be in a time area where time ran fast. When it came to a time area that ran really slow, Floating Kill's motions were much slower. Han Sen chased after Floating Kill at a pace that was not too fast. No matter which stone clock's area he entered, he was not affected. This body is not affected by the passage of time. Han Sen was more than pleased with this result. He hurried up, wanting to catch up with Floating Kill. When Han Sen wanted to use his powers, his body did not adhere to the desires of his mind. He lacked the speed necessary to catch up. What is wrong with this body? Han Sen felt a little bit depressed. He still kept up his pursuit. Floating Kill kept on escaping, but he suddenly stopped. Up ahead, there were two areas he could go for. One area's stone clock was spinning at the speed of light. The other one stone clock's needle barely even moved. Floating Kill's lifespan was very high, but he did not dare go into a fast area like that. That speed might have cost him 10 million years in a single second. Even he would not have been able to hold strong against a force of time like that. As for the other area, time was almost still. If he went inside, he might have stopped moving and become frozen in time. He watched Han Sen approach him. Han Sen was not very fast and not very slow because he could not be as fast as normal. In Floating Kill's eyes, Han Sen was still a very scary man. He felt like a mouse being toyed with by a cat. Goddamn asshole. Floating Kill was very angry. As Han Sen kept playing with him, it made his fear of Han Sen even deeper. He did not even have the courage to fight or threaten Han Sen anymore. If he knew Han Sen could not catch up, which was why he was not fast and not slow, he would have likely felt much different. Floating Kill gnashed his teeth. He was headed for the stone clock area that was extremely slow in its advance. He also took something out. Han Sen saw Floating Kill flash with a blue light. It was like blue seawater was wrapping up his body. He then entered the nearly still time area. In the area where time was stopped, he should not have been able to move. When Floating Kill went inside, he was not stalled by time. He was able to go forward. He was, however, very slow. He was not much faster than a turtle crawling. Floating Kill kept rushing forward. He felt relieved. He looked at the blue crystal orb and felt much better. Luckily, when I went to Time Sky, Mr. Leader gave me this space crack orb. Had I not received this gift, I would have been killed by Han Sen's hands today. With the protection offered by this orb, I can travel through the time area. Even an absolutely still time area will not be able to stop me. That Han Sen will never be able to catch up. Floating Kill looked back, having all those smarmy thoughts to himself. When he looked back, Floating Kill's face changed. He saw Han Sen enter the still time area without his speed slowing down the smallest mote. He was still coming for him at an ordinary pace. It was then that his face turned pale. Han Sen saw Floating Kill rush to the silent area. He thought, Floating Kill must have a death wish. If he ran elsewhere, I might not have been able to chase him. Now he is a very dead man. While he was thinking about this, Han Sen walked in. Just like before, this place was an area where the time power did nothing to inhibit his body. Han Sen was behind Floating Kill in no time at all. I am going to fight you. Floating Kill was angry. His face was twisted as he felt forced to gather power. He generated the sky Floating Kill, moving to suppress Han's senator. The time in that nearly still area made his motions awfully slow. Even the sky-floating kill was becoming slower and slower in its advance. Hansen did not back off. He raised his fist and moved toward the sky-floating kill. Pang! The sky-floating kill exploded with a single punch. It was quickly turned into a sky full of yellow dust. After the punch, Hansen's fist was not stalled. It was still going further, punching toward Floating Kill's chest. Floating Kill did not have a chance of dodging the strike. He gnashed his teeth and put all his power into the space crack orb. The blue water images were clearer. He wanted to use the space crack orb's power to block Hansen's punch. When Hansen's punch landed on the blue watermark shattered. It was unable to withstand Hansen's fist for a single second. It just instantly broke. Even Floating Kill's space crack orb was shattered. Seeing Hansen's fist come thrusting into his chest, Floating Kill's eyes opened wide. He looked very shocked. In the end he thought, perhaps Hansen is scarier than Mr. Leader. Pang! Before his thoughts ended, Floating Kill's body was punched open by Hansen's manic fist. He was reduced to a bloody mist. Floating Kill's break world rate was almost maxed out, but he had not been able to resist one of Hansen's punches. Chapter 3390 Sky Clock. Hansen looked at Floating Kill, who had become a bloody mist. He mocked the man while talking to himself. If opponents are stupid like Floating Kill and trying to fight me with power, my body is pretty effective. Hansen wondered what Floating Kill would have thought if he knew the real situation. If he had not resisted, Hansen would not have killed him. Because Floating Kill used the Sky Floating Kill to try and restrict Hansen, and he used the space crack orb's power, it triggered Hansen's body's natural reaction. If Floating Kill had tried to escape like a normal person and not fight back, it would have been hard for Hansen to kill him. It was a shame that an escape was exactly what resulted in his death. Who would have thought that would happen? Floating Kill was not a break-world beast. Killing him did not yield a break-world gene. He looked around. An hour had yet to go by. The stone clocks were still spinning. To Hansen, this was all pointless. His body was not afraid of time power. Time Sky was a big place, but there was nowhere now he was no longer able to reach. It is a shame that I am unable to find out which stone clock is the sky clock. I still have to wait until the spinning has stopped before testing them too. After Hansen thought about it, he did not plan on going anywhere. He was just going to wait where he was for time to end. Not long later, 1 hour of the time cycle came to an end. Over the course of the next hour, Time Sky did not exhibit any weird changes. Hansen walked to the nearest needle and checked it out. The clocks in the Alliance had 3 different needles. There was a needle for the hours, minutes and seconds. The clocks in Time Sky only had 1 needle. It did not represent the seconds or the minutes, but it did not represent the hour needle either. In theory, it should have represented the hour needle since every section it went through meant 1 hour. In this place, it actually represented 2 hours. All of the stone clocks were like this. Now, all of the stone clock needles had stopped and been no longer moving. The stone needles did not look like delicate things. Their shape and design had many natural flaws. They looked rather smooth. They did not match up with the clocks of greater technology, but there was a vintage feeling when it came to them. Hansen reached out his hand to touch the giant stone needle. He felt as if a chilly feeling was going to prickle him. The frosty feeling was a consequence of the needle's natural temperature. If this was before, Hansen would not have had this heightened sense of feeling. He would have had to use Dongxian aura to sense such a thing. Now the stronger his body was, the lower his sensitivity was. It was like people who practice fist fighting. Their fists were hard and would mature. If their fists hit things that had altered temperatures or a lack of resistance, they would be less sensitive to it. Hansen had such a powerful body, but his feelings were still very sensitive. They were perhaps even more sensitive than before. To the powers outside, they were still very powerful as well. The only thing he could not feel was the power within himself. That depressed Hansen a great deal. He put his hands on the needle. Hansen exerted all the power he could and pushed the stone needle clockwise. Hansen had his share of doubts regarding truthfulness when it came to what Ancient Devil had told him. But the explanation Ancient Devil had given him was something fairly decent. It made sense, so Hansen decided to believe him. According to Ancient Devil, the stone clocks were usually connected to time sky. One movement was able to affect the entire body. Moving one needle was like affecting the entire rule powers of time sky. Even if Qin Xiu was there, he might not have been able to do any pushing. The sky clock was time sky's essence. It was the only thing that could change the rule powers of time sky, so only it could be pushed alone. Of course, that all depended on whether or not the sky clock was willing to be pushed. If it did not want him to push it, it would not move. No matter what, it all depends on luck. Hansen felt a bit angry. He did not like the concept of luck, because his luck had always been vile. Hansen used his power to push the needle. He soon heard a catcha sound. The giant stone needle moved. Hansen had been pushing it for a while. Eventually, time moved. Am I really that lucky? Did I actually find the sky clock? Hansen was very happy. He tried pushing some more. He did not push hard, but he was able to push the needle a little. Ha! Ha! My luck is back. Ancient Devil. Ancient Devi. You were so not willing to come with me, and now I found the sky clock first. You are going to regret this so much. Hansen was so excited that he wanted to laugh at the sky. He had existed for a very long time, and he had finally struck a jackpot. After feeling that happy, Hansen swiftly felt terrible. Even though he had found the sky clock, he did not know how to convince the sky clock to move. The sky clock is the key to time sky. It is just like Sky King and the other life forces. They have high intelligence. Hansen looked at the stone needle. He then spoke to the stone needle. Sky clock, if you are willing to obey me, I promise you will have a fine laugh. Otherwise, don't take it out on me for being mean to you. I will break your needle, or your soul. Hansen tried to threaten it for a while. He did that for so long that he felt his mouth was going to break. After all that time, the stone clock still did not react. It looks like you won't know what regret is unless I use my strength. When Hansen was ready to push the needle further, his heart jumped. He thought, hang on. Was Ancient Devil lying to me? What if all the stone clocks can be pushed? Although he thought the possibility of that being the case was low, due to Ancient Devil being right about the stone clock and needles being connected to time sky, in theory he should not have been able to push one at all. Hansen still harbored doubts. He looked around. He walked up to another stone clock, wanting to see if the other stone clock could be moved. He moved to a stone clock that was the size of a football field. Hansen did not hesitate to put his hand on the stone needle. He pushed it a little. With that small push, the pillar-like needle was pushed really far. The whole area of time around sped up. It was like things fast-forwarded for a while. Hansen thought, holy shit. Ancient Devil, that asshole, lied to me. But that doesn't make sense. How am I able to push it? He thought the stone needle should not have been able to be pushed, but the facts were in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. Hansen readied himself to go out and look for Ancient Devil. He suddenly heard an exciting sound not too far away. Sky clock. Sky clock. I finally found sky clock. Hansen was surprised. He went to take a look. He saw a man with bright eyes pushing a stone needle. That person thought Hansen had found the sky clock. Chapter 3391. Doing the opposite. Hansen did not recognize that person. He looked like a human from the universe of kingdoms. That person did not know who Hansen was either. His eyes were straight and fixed on Hansen's clock. The man pulled out his knife and immediately started slashing toward Hansen. Hansen wanted to fight back, but he thought about it some more. He ended up retreating. He pretended to be angry and shouted, I found the sky clock first. What makes you think you can steal my stuff? Treasure in this world belongs to those who are strong enough to grasp it. If you found something but are too weak to own it, that means you are not the type of person who should have it, the person shamelessly declared. He did not even blush as he boldly spoke. He slashed madly toward Hansen. The knife lights were like 9 skies of galaxies coming down, unable to be stopped. Hansen kept retreating, dodging the knife as he went. He kept falling back while madly shouting, You are stealing my sky clock. You can go to hell. That person was not dumb. He knew Hansen was deliberately trying to attract all the other elites to that zone. He immediately used all of his strength to throw a knife light across the land to kill Hansen as swiftly as possible. Hansen did not appear to be someone special, but his movements were very strange. He kept managing to travel in between and around the dangerous knife lights. The man kept using all the moves he had and exerting all of his strength, but he was unable to harm Han. Senator Lu Xianyu was shocked. He was not one of the Seven Kingdoms royals or a student of Wu Wei Dao Palace, but he had managed to break the world through his own strength. He had crisscrossed across the universe of kingdoms for a few hundred years. He had never lost once. He was not like the break-world beasts that had used life souls to break the world. He thought by using his own power to get the leadership of the Geno tablet's top position. He did not think it would be difficult. When he teleported to Time Sky, he had risked death many times without ever finding the sky clock he needed. It had not figured out that pushing a needle meant the discovery of the sky clock. He had been looking for a long time, but he had yet to find anything. Time Sky had too many stone clocks. It was unknown how many years or months it might take to try them all. Lu Xianyu thought his chances were slim. Suddenly, he had seen another person manage to push a stone needle. Naturally, he wanted to kill them and take the person's supposed sky clock. The person he discovered, who did not look very strong, was able to evade each and every one of his attacks. It greatly surprised him. Roar! Where is the sky clock? Before Lu Xianyu tried to kill him again, both men heard a roar. A giant bear that looked like a blue and giant beast was on its way. Far away, a few more scary presences were breaking space to arrive in the zone. They had obviously come there because of Hansen screaming. Lu Xianyu thought the big bear he saw was quite scary. He did not think he could win in combat against it. He gnashed his teeth and decided to ignore Han Senator. He was going to the stone needle Hansen had just pushed. He wanted to take the sky clock before the big bear reached it, and stole the goods. The big bear was a bit slow. It looked at Lu Xianyu, who was heading for the stone clock, but it could guess what it was. It was, however, too late for the bear to stop him. The bear made another roaring sound. Its claws lashed out to bat Lu Xianyu. An ice-blue scary light beam struck Lu Xianyu. It was too late. Lu Xianyu was going to take the stone needle. Suddenly, a silver typhoon came in from space. It went in front of Lu Xianyu. He had no choice but to give up on the stone clock and try striking the silver typhoon to break it. There was a booming noise, which resulted in silver light exploding alongside a knife light. In the shattered silver light, a big silver bird flew forward. It looked angry as it went straight to fight Lu Xianyu. That kind of interruption made many more break-world beasts want to join in. It resulted in the whole place devolving into a mess. Many scary creatures were fighting. They all wanted that stone clock for themselves. Hansen had already retreated a good distance away a long time ago. He watched Lu Xianyu battle the break-world beasts and said to himself, "Fight! Fight! The more that die here, the fewer enemies I have to deal with. None of them will be getting the sky clock anytime soon." After that, he walked away. He was certain that the needles of the two stone clocks he had pushed were not the sky clock they were after. Hansen thought, if everyone knows the sky clock needle can be moved and the needles of other stone clocks can be moved, that means Ancient Devil did not lie to me. The problem has something to do with me. There is a 90% chance it is a problem that has something to do with my body. That is how I was able to push the stone needles of two clocks. He then went to a place where no one was around. He tried pushing the needle of another stone clock. Just like before, he was able to push the stone needles with ease. It did not cost him much strength. Of course, it is my body's problem. If it wasn't, the stone clock would not have been able to be tampered with. It is going to be very troublesome if I can move every clock. It means I won't be able to find the sky clock. Hansen was quite troubled by this development. He tried doing this a few more times, but he had the same results each time. If he wanted to, he could push the stone clock needles exactly where he wanted them to be. Hansen said to himself, "It is useless to keep pushing these needles. I do not know how I am supposed to find the sky clock." Still, he persevered and tried every stone clock he came across. He still hoped he would find something. Clearly, his luck had not gotten any better. He kept walking. He pushed many stone needles, but he was unable to find anything. After an hour, the bell rang. The time wheel storm kicked up into a frenzy again. This time, Hansen was no longer worried about being restricted by the storm of the time wheel. He stood in front of a stone clock, waiting for the needles to spin. After 12 chimes, Hansen's stone clock spun around like a fan. It was going counterclockwise. If an ordinary creature was standing there, they would have turned into an egg. Hansen's heart jumped. He jumped next to a stone clock and reached his hand out to press the stone needle. The stone needle he touched stopped operating. Hansen used one hand to suppress the needle. As a consequence, the needle stopped moving. Hansen felt that the needle had a reverse power. If he let go, the needle was likely going to madly spin. I will hold the needle. If anyone comes close, I will let it go. I do not need to fight. The counterclockwise power can kill all my foes. To be able to control the needles of all these stone clocks is very helpful. Hansen was thinking his powers were not completely useless after all. After thinking about that, Hansen's heart jumped. If I cannot try it when time stops, why do I not do the opposite? Maybe I should try to stop the needles. If it was a sky clock, it might fight against me instead of just coming to a standstill. Hansen did as he thought. He held the attack of the time power and continued exploring. When he found a stone clock, he stopped its needle from spinning. Chapter 3392 Fighting After walking all that way, Hansen had found nothing. Suddenly, a stone clock appeared ahead of him. The needle was madly spinning. It was moving so fast that the needle couldn't be seen anymore. Hansen observed it for a while. The needle was continuing to spin counterclockwise. Based on the speed it was going, any creature to enter its zone would have been instantly turned into an egg. Hansen stepped into the area. His eyes looked surprised. His body did react. His stone-looking body felt power from the outside. Time was like a wave of water outside of him. Hansen felt the flow and float of the river of time on his skin. Although his body was not moved by the reversal of time, it still shocked Hansen. He looked at the crazy, spinning needle and thought, is the reversal of this spinning time too fast? Is that why my body has actually prompted some sort of reaction? Is it just this clock itself that is weird? Discovering the answer to that questions was not going to be difficult for Hansen. He stepped toward the spinning needle. As he moved, something surprised Hansen. It thrilled him with sheer delight. When he walked to the needle, the speed of the needle increased. It was going faster than it was before. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with this stone clock. The needle's speed on an ordinary stone clock is connected to time sky. The speed cannot be changed through ordinary means. If the speed was changed, the whole of the time sky would be affected. The stone clocks would be changed too unless my luck really did come. Hansen's eyes looked as if they were on fire as he stared at the needle. He stopped all hesitation and went to the needle. The closer Hansen got to the needle, the faster the stone clock spun. The impact of the river of time was stronger. The reverse time power almost turned something he could actually see. When Hansen went to the needle, it was like he was a boat sailing out across a stormy sea. It was like he was trying to drive it up a waterfall. Every step he took, his body felt an absurd amount of pressure fall on him. Since his super god spirit mode had evolved, this was the first time Hansen's body had been able to feel pressure of some kind. This body does not deny the ability to feel power. It is just because all opposing powers thus far have been too weak for me to feel. Hansen stepped forward. The time power was able to give him quite a bit of pressure, but that was all that it was. The power was not enough to move Hansen's body. Most importantly, it didn't come anywhere near the realm that would see his body devolve. Hansen walked in front of the needle. He reached his hand out to grab the stone needle that was madly spinning. The moment his hand stopped the needle had a surge of power that made it spin even crazier. It made Hansen's body spin half a cycle with it. Ultimately, the needle's movement was brought to a standstill by Hansen. It shook, but it could no longer spin. The stone needle was not like any other needle. Hansen did not stop it. Instead, it exploded with power. Hansen's power was uncontrollably pushed away. His feet touched the stone ground, creating a deep trench in it. Hansen's body used power. His hands pushed the stone edge of the uncompliant needle. The stone needle's force was made still. The needle continued to quiver, as if it was still trying to fight back. When Hansen held the needle and tried to suppress it, no matter how much the needle tried to move, he could not do anything. Catcha. Suddenly, Hansen heard a cracking noise. The stone needle cracked. It made a butterfly-like crack. It spun so fast that it seemed to be too powerful. It was like the needle was going to break. Quickly, the 90-foot-long stone needle had developed cracks along its entire structure. The needle continued to apply more power until it shattered to bits. Amidst the cracked stone was a crystal light. It was like sword light slashing toward Hansen. Hansen reached out for the crystal light and stopped it. His body was pushed back the crystal light. His legs formed two deep trenches in the ground. He was unable to stop its force, so he drew a circle in the ground. Hansen was now able to see that this was not a sword light. It was a needle made of crystal. It looked rather pretty, and its crystal shape was shining. It looked like an extraordinary lance built from the finest, most gracious materials. Either that, or it looked like a weird crystal-like sword that was very big. The crystal needle had been in the stone needle all that time. It only revealed itself when the stone shell around it broke. That must be correct. This must be the sky clock. Hansen was very happy. His body kept using power, and the crystal needle's power kept fighting against him. The crystal needle's spinning speed finally started to slow and cease. Catcha, catcha. More cracking sounds were coming from beneath Hansen's feet. Many giant cracks were spreading across the face of the stone clock. A crystal light was atop that clock. On the stone clock that was cracking and flaking away, Hansen immediately saw the presence of what appeared to be a crystal clock. Because the needle power kept fighting Hansen, the powerful power cracked the stone clock shell on the outside to reveal its true self. Quickly, the stone clock was cracked. It revealed the presence of a big, crystal clock. Hansen was standing atop the crystal clock, holding the needle. The needle kept shaking, but it could not move. Not too long ago, Hansen had triggered a big fight. Now most of the creatures in the realm had been drawn there. He suspected his discovery of the sky clock would have started a big fight and brought creatures his way. By keeping them occupied elsewhere, it meant he was free for now. How do I claim the sky clock? Hansen held the needle as he fought against the sky clock. Although he could keep it under control, the sky clock had no intention of submitting and obeying him. It still tried to fight and go against Hansen's will for it to submit and adhere. While Hansen was thinking about how he might gain control of the sky clock, he felt as if someone had just arrived. He turned around and saw Ancient Devil approaching. His heart jumped. Why did Ancient Devil not show up any other time? Why is he only showing up now? Has this guy been following me the entire time? Hansen's mind flashed with many different ideas about Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil walked close to the sky clock and smiled at the big, crystal clock as he said, "Your luck really isn't all that bad. It looks like you have managed to find the sky clock." Hansen stared at Ancient Devil and asked, "Ancient Devil, have you been following me?" Ancient Devil laughed. "You used to follow me. I thought it would be okay if we switched for once. That being said, I did not expect you would end up lucky enough to find the sky clock in a relatively short amount of time. You surpassed my expectations. Yeah, I found it, and that which belongs to me cannot be stolen by others," Hansen said with a squint of his eyes. "You have not managed to conquer it yet, so it is not yours." Ancient Devil's face did not change. He walked over to the sky clock. Chapter 3393 Fighting Ancient Devil. Hansen knew that trying to convince Ancient Devil with his mouth was pretty much a futile endeavor. He looked at Ancient Devil and noticed he was holding something he had never seen before. In the Destiny Tablet, the remnant of Chaos's soul that was left behind gifted Ancient Devil an item. She did the same for Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon. Now, Ancient Devil was holding one of the gifts. It was an Imperial Jade Seal. It was white at the bottom and red on the top. Its four corners were like white jade. The beast on top was red. It crouched on the seal. It was like a monkey with a sharp mouth. It had wings on its back. It looked very beautiful. Ancient Devil put the Imperial Jade Seal in his hands. The location of his fingers was on the spine of the blood beast. The stamp was facing down, so Han Sen could not see the print that was left behind. Time was still in motion. For Ancient Devil to have been able to follow him for so long without detection meant he had likely done something special to achieve that. He was getting close to the sky clock while holding the Imperial Jade Seal. He must have set this up. He must have had a way to conquer the sky clock. Han Sen did not know of a way in which he could guarantee ownership of the sky clock. His heart jumped. He suddenly let the crystal needle go and retreated 2 steps back. He left the crystal needle's spinning area. The crystal needle still tried its best to move. When Han Sen let go, the needle spun like mad. In no time at all, its spin had conducted many full cycles. Han Sen's body could withstand the power. In the silent time stream reversal, it was like Han Sen's body did not move. He was like a mountain. He stared at Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil was still around 2,100 feet away from the sky clock. He was in the reverse time stream too. The reverse time stream hit him. As Ancient Devil's hands clutched the Imperial Jade Seal, some strange noises were produced. The blood beast atop the seal was glowing with a red light. The blood beast spread its wings as if it was alive. It made some weird noises. Its eyes were red. Han Sen noticed Ancient Devil was in a time reversal area, but his body was not devolving. It had to be because of the blood beast atop the Imperial Jade Seal. It was weirdly changing and looked as if it was getting younger. What is that Imperial Jade Seal? Can it help Ancient Devil accept the reversal of time? Han Sen frowned and looked at the Imperial Jade Seal. He was shocked. Ancient Devil was holding the Imperial Jade Seal. His body was in the red light. When time went by, he kept stepping toward the sky clock. He kept walking while saying, "This item is called the Chaos God Imperial Jade Seal. It is a relic belonging to the God Chaos Party. It represents the authority of the God Chaos Party. It can suppress a sky full of everything. It can endure the time reversal power in my stead. It looks like you have found a way to earn the sky clock." Han Sen looked at Ancient Devil, who was stepping across the big crystal clock. He walked in front of him. "I really do not want to become your enemy, but the sky clock is very important to me. I must claim it." Ancient Devil stopped in front of Han Sen and sighed. "I must get the sky clock. Let's see which one of us holds what it takes. That being said, we have never properly fought together. At least today, for this one time, we will be engaging in combat with one another." Han Sen walked to Ancient Devil. He looked very serious. Some people, regardless of if they were weak or strong, were not to be underestimated. Ancient Devil was one such person. It looks like this really has to be it. Ancient Devil held the Chaos God Imperial Jade Seal, but he did not reveal any power. It looked as if he was a normal human. "It looks like your power has recovered by quite a bit." Han Sen stopped 15 feet away from Ancient Devil. The two of them were atop the crystal clock. He let the time keep releasing its reversal powers on them. "It will be better than before," Ancient Devil coldly said. "Very good. I wanted to see your powers, so let's go." Han Sen raised his left hand, and used his left hand like a knife. Han Sen was unable to feel weak powers, but his will was still there. When he raised his hand, he made other people feel as if the sky and the ground existed between his fingers. If Han Sen moved his left hand, it was as if the sky and the ground would snap in two. Ancient Devil did not move. He raised his fist. His fist looked ordinary, but it also looked like a mountain. It felt very stable and indestructible. Han Sen did not fall back. Instead, he pushed forward. He used his hand like a knife. He slashed toward Ancient Devil. He did not look at Ancient Devil's fist. He used his life to bet on his life. He was keen to see which of the pair would win this gambit. If this was between ordinary people, the fight would have already started. Han Sen would have had to fight for his life if he sought to survive. If he did not fight, he would have to fall back. Then he would lose the power and be in passive mode. Ancient Devil did not fall back. He did not fight Han Sen either. The fist that looked like a mountain changed. He suddenly became a mountain with lots of water flowing around. He went from being extremely strong yang to extremely soft yin. Even so, it still looked very natural. It was like the punch was supposed to be that way. Like when pulling out a knife to cut water, the water flowed more. Han Sen slashed down. Ancient Devil's body was like a water flow that flashed. His fist was like water as it silently punched Han Sen's chest. Han Sen's body slashed down and forward. It seemed as if he could not dodge that punch, but his body twisted. It blocked Ancient Devil's fist and made his body spin. His hand slashed Ancient Devil's head. Han Sen had seen many elites, but he had never encountered someone remotely comparable to the likes of Ancient Devil. Han Sen used to meet strong elites all the time, such as Six Paths Emperor or Lone Bamboo. Everyone had their own manner of style and technique. If people did not look at them and only observed their skills, they were sure to recognize who they were. Ancient Devil was different. He was like a different person altogether. He was now like a combination of many different things. When he was strong, he was very overbearing. When he was soft, he was unpredictable. He never regretted his punch. He was so soft that he could spin 100 times without reprieve. No matter what skill it was, when used by Ancient Devil, it was like he was adopting entire personas. He would become a completely different person. Every example of his skill was the best it could be. Han Sen felt really weird doing battle with Ancient Devil. It gave Han Sen the feeling that there was something wrong. It was like he was doing battle with someone completely different every time Ancient Devi switched technique. Ancient Devil was very good when it came to doing the right thing at the right time, but he was different from ordinary people. He did everything perfectly without a single flaw. He was like a sports player that could do everything. It did not matter which subject or sport he was competing in. He would earn the gold medal and perform difficult moves onlookers could never expect to see. Han Sen was the kind of person that maxed out every technique, but every one of his skills had its own style. No matter what skill he had, it was branded in his hand. It was his style. He was not like Ancient Devil who could keep changing. Chapter 3394 Reverse. No matter how much Ancient Devil changed, Han Sen was still able to deal with him. No matter how much his skills or will changed, Han Sen was still able to break and fend him off. It wasn't too difficult for him to do that either. Ancient Devil flashed with shock. Han Sen made things that seemed heavy be operated as if they were light. Bit by bit, he weakened the attacks of his opposition. He seemed like a very capable person for doing something like that. He had a powerful aura. It was the type of aura only the old leader had shown before. With what Ancient Devil knew about Han Sen, the man had only been born about 40 years ago. How had he been able to practice and accomplish so much in such a short amount of time? He was like the greatest person to ever arise across the entire breadth of history. Han Sen really admired Ancient Devil too. There were many times he believed he had the advantage and could damage Ancient Devil, but Ancient Devil would always save himself through the surprise reveal of another dazzling technique. Han Sen was unable to gain a clear, distinct advantage. It is a shame I do not have the freedom to control this body's power. Otherwise it would be easy for me to defeat Ancient Devil, Han Sen thought. He wondered how he might defeat Ancient Devil and make him afraid of him. Before Han Sen found a way, Ancient Devil's body moved. He exited the battleground. He stood far from Han Sen and just looked in his direction. What? Are you going to give up? After saying that, Han Sen felt his heart jump. He just made sure not to let it show. Ancient Devil looked at Han Senator. He suddenly squinted with his eyes and smiled. I said it was weird, and this is why. Your body has a problem for sure. What problem could I possibly have? Han Sen knew Ancient Devil had discovered he had a problem with his body, but his face did not change to show concern. Ancient Devil looked at Han Sen and said, I am using different powers to attack you, but the power you use to fight back is different. It may be a very small difference, but it does mean something. Your power's feedback has a major difference. As I release more power, you return more power to resist. If I put out a weaker amount of power, you combat it with a weaker power as well. I keep thinking that there can only be one possibility for why that is, which is that your body has a problem. Your power is difficult to use. Ancient Devil spoke this all out very clearly. Han Sen said, Even if my body does have a problem, you cannot fight me and obtain the sky clock. Ancient Devil laughed. If your body needs other powers to be activated, the more power you receive, the stronger the reaction you will have. If you are a recipient of a weaker attack, the reaction you respond with is weaker. If that is how things currently are, then I will just ignore your attacks. Won't that mean your attacks will be so weak that they will not be able to affect my body? In that case, I will just have to go ahead and ignore you. I will just go and claim the sky clock. You can try. Hansen knew that no matter what he said now, he could not sway Ancient Devil's heart and the determination he had spawned. Of course, Ancient Devil lowered his hands and went to the sky clock's crystal needle. He ignored Hansen's attacks. Hansen's face remained unchanged. He used his palm like a knife, slashing toward Ancient Devil's neck. Ancient Devil was very stable. He did not dodge. He let Hansen slash his neck. His eyelids did not even flicker with a slight flinch. Hansen's hand was going to slash Ancient Devil across the neck, when there was a sudden change. His hand changed direction. It was like lightning going to come crashing against Ancient Devil's Imperial Jade Seal. Ancient Devil seemed to expect this. He held the Imperial Jade Seal and pulled away. His body leaned, resulting in Hansen's hand knife missing. Your body has a big problem for sure, Ancient Devil said to Han Sr. So what? Hansen coldly asked. Ancient Devil was not in much of a rush. He laughed and said, right now, I need the Imperial Jade Seal to endure the time reversal powers. That is why I am still afraid of you. In 1 hour, time will stop. Then, I will no longer need the Imperial Jade Seal's power. Once that happens, how do you think you will be able to stop me? Hansen licked his lips. Don't forget that this is the sky clock. It is not an ordinary stone clock. An hour later, it might not even stop. It will stop. Ancient Devil seemed very confident about that. I would really like to see if it will stop, but I am afraid that by the time all the stone clocks stop, other elites will be passing through, Hansen said. When that happens, you won't be able to take the sky clock. Ancient Devil calmly said. No one will come to this area in any short amount of time. You triggered that big battle in the other place. After you did that, I did something else. I attracted even more elites to go and participate in that battle. Around 80% to 90% of all the creatures stuck in Time Sky were likely lured to that big fight. No one else will come here in any short amount of time. I can wait it out. If you really are that confident, then you can just sit your bum down and wait. Hansen sat down on the crystal clock. Ancient Devil did not get close. He waited from afar. Time went by. 1 hour was not long. Hansen had wasted a lot of time on the road in addition to the time he had spent fighting the sky clock. He had also spent some time fighting Ancient Devil. He knew he was strapped for time. Not long later, the hour went by. The stone clocks around stopped spinning. As that happened, the sky clock itself started to slow down. Like the rest, it stopped moving. It really did stop. Hansen was shocked. He thought the sky clock would not stop and would still remember him. Ancient Devil put the Chaos God Imperial Jade Seal away and walked up to the sky clock needle. He said, the sky clock is Time Sky's spirit. It will have to follow the rules established by Time Sky. When Hansen heard Ancient Devil speak, what he said seemed to make sense. He still thought something was wrong. While the thoughts in his head whirled to make sense of things, he jumped. He went right next to the crystal needle. Stop wasting more of our time. Even if your power was greater than the old leader, the sky clock would not be willing to listen to you. Furthermore, your body has a problem. You are damaged goods, man. Ancient Devil thought Hansen was going to try and pull the rug from under him by taking the sky clock, so he coldly said what he did. I was not planning to claim it. Hansen put his hand on the crystal needle and smiled at him. In that case, do you care to enlighten me as to what it is you are trying to do? Ancient Devil's face changed. He seemed to realize something dodgy was going on, so he tried to hurry along with the proceedings for elucidation. He wanted to go next to the crystal needle too. Of course, I want it to spin again. Hansen pushed the crystal needle. A strong power pushed the crystal needle. Like a grand windmill, It spun around counterclockwise. How is that possible? Ancient Devil's face changed. He could not believe his eyes. It was an extraordinary effort to be able to push the silent sky clock, but Hansen had casually pushed it around like he was spinning the propeller of a plane. Not many people were able to do such a thing. The now absent time reversal powers came back. It immediately blew a gust of power to beat back Ancient Devil, prompting the man to use the Chaos God Imperial Jade Seal to protect himself. Chapter 3395 Becoming a Leader. Again the two of them returned to their frozen modes. If Ancient Devil did not come at him, there was nothing Hansen could do to him. Ancient Devil frowned and said, Hansen, if you and I keep doing this, we will attract the attention of other people. It is only a matter of time before others come. When that happens, it will be bad for both of us. I am fine with that, Hansen said with a smile. Other people are easier to deal with than you. Ancient Devil developed a wry smile as he shook his head. There is no need for you to actually say that. Even if you could defeat every enemy here, you would not be able to take the sky clock. It is pointless for you to cling to it. I have a way in which this impasse can be resolved with both of us walking away benefiting. Tell me more and we will see. Hansen did not actually want to attract the attention of other elites. He had not been able to understand his new body yet. He was unable to control the power he had. Ancient Devil looked at Hansen and asked, Do you want the sky clock to become the leader of Time Sky? Yes. Hansen nodded. That is a good thing. I already have the position of a leader. I do not need to be the leader of Time Sky. I can help get you the sky clock, so you can become the leader of Time Sky. In return for this kindness, you need to bring the sky clock along with you to help me out as a favor. What favor might that be? Hansen asked. I cannot tell you what it is right now, but you will know it when the time comes, Ancient Devil said. His words dripped with mystery. How can such an exchange work? If your secret favor is to kill me, do you really expect me to just kill myself? Hansen curled his lips. Ancient Devil laughed. Can you promise me that much? Hansen's face turned red. He quickly looked like a normal man again and asked, If you do not believe me, are you not worried about me betraying my promise when the time comes? It is a very real threat, isn't it? We are not best buddies. You might not be the most trustworthy person to have ever lived, but I am always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. On top of that, even you have boundaries. You are not the type to completely break promises. That is something I am willing to fully trust. If I did not think that about you, I would not even entertain the mere thought of working with you. Ancient Devil smiled. What you have just said is not too bad, Hansen said. I suppose we can work together for a bit, but I am the one that takes the lead on this. Just in case you say I don't keep my promises, there is the chance I won't follow through on helping you. If what you eventually ask something that goes against my principles, the deal is off. Sure. That is fine by me. That is the deal. I will help you take the sky clock and become the Time Sky leader. In return you help me do this thing. After that, Ancient Devil walked up to the crystal needle. Hang on. You are still standing there. Tell me what to do. Hansen did not dare underestimate Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil stopped in his tracks and smiled. You are being too careful. If you want to take the sky clock, it is not actually all that difficult. The primary point is that you need to use the right method. What method? Hansen asked. You make the needle stop first, then you follow what I tell you to do. Ancient Devil did not explain much. Hansen nodded. He reached out his hands and stopped the sky clock's crystal needle. He made it come to a halt and asked Ancient Devil, What do I do next? Ancient Devil raised his head and looked at Time Sky's stone clock. After a while he said to Hansen, Push the needle to the 12 o'clock position. Hansen did not hesitate. His hands worked to push the crystal needle. He pushed it to the 12 o'clock position. Ancient Devil looked at it for a while and then said, Now push it to 9 o'clock. Hansen put the crystal needle to where Ancient Devil was. He did this about 7 or 8 times. All the while, Ancient Devil stood where he was, calculating something unknown to Han Sr. Does this really work? Hansen wondered if this really worked or not. You will find out whether or not it works in time. Ancient Devil did not explain. He had Hansen move the crystal needle again. The 12th time Hansen pushed the crystal needle to where Ancient Devil wanted it, there was a weird noise. It was much like the sound of a lock being popped open. The crystal clock slowly started to run. The clock had cogwheels moving inside it. The crystal needle started to spin by its own volition. The crystal plate started to open. Another 2 crystal needles were revealed. It adopted the shape of a clock with which Hansen was more familiar. It became a clock with 3 needles. When the 3 needles moved, the crystal clock's machine and cogwheels started spinning. The clock had major changes. The giant clock started to look smaller, but it was just for a moment. The giant clock became a small alarm clock that kept releasing a weird light that landed in Hansen's hand. When the crystal clock's bottom touched Hansen's hand, it was like a stamp branding it. It left a spell on him that looked like it spelled out the title of Time Sky Leader. All the bells of Time Sky started to ring in tandem. All of the stone clocks made some bell sounds. They were very loud. Throughout all of the 33 skies, it sounded like the stone clocks were celebrating the coming of a new leader. There were only 2 more free leader seats on the Geno tablet. Now one was lighting up. 29th Sky Leader. Hansen, the Universe of Kingdoms, and the Geno universe were both given a shock. In the past, Hansen had already asserted leadership of a sky that was eventually taken down and replaced by another. Now he had become Time Sky Leader. In the 33 skies, he was the only person to become a leader twice. I knew Hansen would become a leader. Qinbai was very happy. Most of the Qin Kingdom's royals were not as happy about this turn of events as he. Hansen's name was very shocking. It was a tarnished name, and one they held much contempt for. He was the person they all wished would die. For a time, they thought he might have died. The return of his name made them feel unsafe. On the flip side, most people were happy in the Geno universe. I say Mr. Dollar always had what it takes to become a leader. It is likely Mr. Dollar never quite fancied being the leader of Burning Red Sky, so he gave it away. Mr. Dollar is so overbearing. It is much harder to get the leader's position of Time Sky than it is to become the leader of Burning Red Sky. Many elites in the universe were trying to take Time Sky, but none of them could. Yet Mr. Dollar nabbed it with ease. Hansen did not have the time to think about how others might view him. A beam of light came from the Geno tablet. It went through the sky to shine on Han Sr. It took him to the Geno tablet. Hansen was no stranger to this scene. The last time it happened in the soldier weapon sky, he had experienced this once. This time he was not a sword combined with a soldier spirit. He had been halfway thrown away the last time this went on. This was the first time he had become Time Sky Leader, and nothing troubled his ascension. He simply flew up to arrive at the Geno tablet. I will be waiting for you here, Ancient Devil said as he watched Hansen fly away. Hansen nodded. He did not say anything as he was drawn into the Geno tablet. Every leader had experienced this. The shadow of light shone. Hansen's vision became very clear. He eventually noticed that he was standing before the Geno tablet in the 33rd sky. As he looked at it, he saw that the Geno tablet was not much different. The names of 30 leaders were on it. Aside from Ningyu, that sky did not have a leader. The 33rd sky did not have a leader either. We meet again. An old voice sounded in Hansen's brain. Do you remember me? Hansen looked at the Geno tablet with shock. Chapter 3396 Geno Tablet Changes. Your genes are already in my gene base. Of course I remember you. The Geno tablet went on to say. You also made me return to my origin. Even without your genes, I am not going to forget what you did. Hansen was shocked. Now that it had returned to its origin, it seemed as if the intelligence of the Geno tablet was higher than before. Why have you brought me here? Once upon a time, Hansen had been the leader of Burning Red Sky. That was because he stole the seat of another. He was not taken to the Geno tablet last time. He was instead chased off by enemy forces. He did not have the chance to go the way he did now. He did not really know what leaders of the skies were even supposed to do. I am not supposed to tell you, who are just a candidate. Since you did help me return to my origin, I suppose I am willing to tell you. The competition for the establishment of 33 skies leaders is basically a selection process for me to find a host. When a leader shows up, they are brought here to have their genes tested to see if they reach my requirements. The Geno tablet paused before saying, "But you do not need to try. I tested you before. Your requirements did not reach the standards I want either. Even if I am not capable, must you be so euphemistic? There is no need for you to go so far as to hurt my feelings." Hansen sounded sad. "What does euphemistic mean?" the Geno tablet asked. "Never mind. Just pretend I did not say anything." Hansen nervously asked, "Did you find a master you are happy with yet?" "A host is not a master," the Geno tablet seriously said. "Thus far, no leader has reached the requirements I seek." "Not even the 17th sky's leader?" Hansen remembered Qin Xiu was the leader of the 17th sky. He should have come to this place to be tested. "The 17th sky's leader is close, but he lacks something," the Geno tablet coldly said. "He still hasn't reached what I am looking for. I will not choose him." "Your standards are pretty high," Hansen said. He then thought, "It looks like Qin Xiu must use his body to become reboot class, and then use the Geno prototype armor. After that step, only then can he control the Geno tablet. If that does not work, it means it has not happened yet." After thinking about this, Hansen asked, "If you never find a host, what do you plan on doing? Are you going to close the 33 skies and go out of business?" "If there aren't any good hosts, we will need a Geno tablet fight to find a leader that can become my host temporarily. That will have to do." The Geno tablet spoke like a human. Hansen displayed a wry smile. "I did not know that is what the Geno tablet fights were for. Aren't you just trying to pick the biggest man out of a bunch of small men? What do you think this is? If there aren't any accidents, that human from the 17th sky will become my host." The Geno tablet's words were clear. "Maybe not. I know a person whose genes are better than the 17th sky's human leader." After saying that, Hansen thought, "I wish Bao'er could come here to test. Maybe she would become the master of the Geno tablet. If Qin Xiu makes that final step, rebooting the universe still won't be easy. Out of the current leaders of the 33 skies, there has yet to be another that is greater than him. I am including you in that too." At the very least, the Geno tablet was being honest. Hansen rubbed his nose. "You do not need to say that. I am not talking about the leaders of the 33 skies. I am talking about my daughter. Your genes are bad. Your daughter has your genes, so how good can she be?" The Geno tablet was very mean. It was so mean that Hansen was speechless. "Can't my daughter make better genes than I? Plus my genes are fine, okay?" Hansen sounded a bit depressed. "You are still worse than the leader of the 17th sky," the Geno tablet quietly said. It was still enough to make Hansen feel much worse. "I promise you that my daughter's genes will be greater than the genes of the 17th sky's leader. She is, however, still evolving. She did not get permission to be a leader in the 33 skies either. For our sake, can we just let her come up here for a test first?" Hansen noticed that the Geno tablet had very human-like emotions. Perhaps it was possible to convince the tablet into letting them do a backdoor check on Bao'er. Bao'er had yet to combine with the gourd vine. Seeing the seats of all the leaders going to be taken if she did not come, the Geno tablet fights were going to begin. Even if she was able to combine completely, she would not have a chance to assert control of the Geno tablet. The Geno tablet did not answer. It did not answer, which meant it did not reject the suggestion either. Hansen sensed that the Geno tablet was considering the proposal. He was happy about that. If the Geno tablet was still as cold as before, he would not be able to bring Bao'er here. Now he had one hope of ensuring it. The last sky leader is going to be decided, and there is no creature that has yet to satisfy my requirements, the Geno tablet said. "I will let you try this with me." When Hansen heard that, he was happy. He suddenly realized something. He looked at the Geno tablet and asked, "What do you mean you can let me try this with you?" Am I not supposed to bring my daughter here? No. You cannot break the rules, the Geno tablet said. Your daughter is not a leader. She has no permission to come. I will just go with you to see her. Hansen examined the giant Geno tablet as he asked, how are you going to follow me? The main and reverse Geno universes could see the Geno tablet. If the Geno tablet lifted itself out of the 33 skies and left alongside Hansen, it was going to produce a very silly scene. That is easy, the Geno tablet said. You just need to lift the sky clock. Hansen lifted the crystal clock he had procured and placed it down in front of the Geno tablet. The Geno tablet created some light. It suddenly shot into the crystal clock, which made the crystal clock undergo amazing changes. The crystal clock looked very beautiful and elegant, but it did not look like anything special. Now it was slowly changing into the shape of a gravestone. It was still very beautiful and elegant, but it did look a bit twisted. It was like holding a mini crystal gravestone in one's hands. Let's go. Although I know your daughter will fail for your sake, I am willing to go and have a look at her. The Geno tablet's voice came from the crystal clock. There were 3 curves on the crystal clock's plate. 2 of the curves were rising and bending down. They looked like 2 smirking eyes. One of the lines was at the bottom. It rose like a half circle to present a smile. By the looks of it, it looked like the gravestone had a smile. It looked very weird. If he did not want to see Bao'er, Hansen would have just thrown this thing away. Having a clock for a gift was very bad luck. Now he had a clock and a gravestone. It made Hansen feel terrible. Hansen held the crystal clock and asked, by the way, I recently evolved. My genes should have improved. Should I test things with you again? Chapter 3397 Tez. There is no need to. Your genes have awful flaws, and they are not stable. Whatever the case may be, it won't reach the standards I require. The Geno tablet rejected Senator Hansen just shrugged his shoulders in response. It's fine if you do not want to test me. Once I have reached a standard you deem to be suitable, it will be your loss. That will be impossible, the Geno tablet answered with certainty. Hansen felt bad. He rubbed his nose as he said, in that case, let's just get a move on. I will take you to see my daughter. If she is at the standards you seek, it should save you some time from searching for another host. Where is your daughter? The Geno tablet asked. I can take you there. She is currently in the sanctuaries, Hansen replied. In the sanctuaries? The Geno tablet replied with a tone that suggested some kind of wonder. Is there a problem with that? Hansen was very sensitive. He could tell the Geno tablet was afraid of the sanctuaries in some capacity. That is not what I look after. It would not be polite for me to go there. I will send you to the gates of the sanctuaries. Then, you can go fetch your daughter, and let me have a look at her. The Geno tablet had been silent for a bit before saying that. What? Are you afraid of entering the sanctuaries? Hansen tried making the tablet mad. He thought it might give him a chance to glean some mysteries and answers out of it. The Geno tablet was clearly not a being with complex emotions. It simply replied, I have told you, that is simply not a place I am in control of. According to the rules, I cannot enter the sanctuaries. Who is in charge of the sanctuaries? Hansen really wanted to know. Hansen once thought that Qin Xiu created the sanctuaries. He later proved that Qin Xiu was just a man who discovered the sanctuaries and used them for his own ends. Hansen then thought the god Chaos Party was responsible for the creation of the sanctuaries, but Chaos told him the sanctuaries were the same as the Geno Hall. She did not make them. She merely found them and used them. I do not know. The Geno tablet's answer disappointed Hansen a great deal. Hansen wanted to ask something more, but the crystal clock suddenly moved in his hands. In the blink of an eye, Hansen was standing before the gates of the sanctuaries. It was where the big Baron systems were. The gates to the sanctuaries were closed. Hansen remembered the first time he went there was to get his child back from the Sky Palace leader. Now that he thought about it, it was like it had only just happened. He easily remembered the details of what happened. The Geno tablet said, I will help you open the gates to the sanctuaries. All you need to do is bring your daughter here. The needle on the crystal clock started to spin again. It made a weird time and space power brush against the gates that led to the sanctuaries. It pushed the gates that led into the sanctuaries. Are you really not going to come with me? Right now you are not a Geno tablet. You are just a crystal clock. You should be fine. Hansen did not want to convince the Geno tablet. He just wanted another chance to learn about the sanctuaries. You are right. Right now, I am in the sky clock. I do not need to worry about much. Let's just go inside. After considering things a little more, the Geno tablet decided to concede and enter. Before Hansen said anything, the crystal clock twisted space. It took Hansen to rush into the sanctuaries. Hansen brought the Geno tablet to the home of the Alliance. Quite surprisingly, Chaos was not home. Bao'er was alone still practicing in the garden. Hansen did not go to the garden. He stood outside and watched. He kept seeing Bao'er try to combine with the gourd vine, but she failed every time. Although Bao'er's body was strong, this kind of combination made her body feel very burdened. Whenever she failed, she had to rest on the floor. Her big pretty eyes appeared bloodshot. Her entire body was soaked with sweat. Despite this happening over and over, Bao'er did not give up. She was still trying her best to combine with the gourd vine. Hansen knew Bao'er was afraid of enduring something that was a hard time. She always looked fearless, but she was just a little girl. If she suffered, she would go to Hansen and cry. She would not try again. This time she kept trying. Again and again she pushed on. She had never been this determined before. Hansen thought it was weird. He did not know what Chaos might have told Bao'er to prompt such behavior, and have her keep practicing without stopping. Even if Chaos was not there to watch her, Bao'er did not become lazy. She kept working and practicing without ever being lazy. Hansen saw that Bao'er's face was all red. If it continued, she would not just be sweating anymore. He walked into the garden and said, "Bao'er, you should take a break." Bao'er had grown up with Han's senator. He was closer to her than he was with his real daughter. Seeing her suffer in this way, Hansen felt awful. There is no time to rest. Chaos said I must succeed. Otherwise, I cannot join the Geno tablet fights. If Qin Xiu becomes the leader of the Geno tablet, you mother, brother, and sister will cease to exist. Bao'er looked very bold. She picked up the gourd and tried combining with it again. Hansen suddenly understood why Bao'er was so determined. Things were now different from how they were before. It was because of him and his family. Hansen softly looked at Bao'er. When Bao'er failed again, he touched her on the head and rubbed her. He said, "There is no need to rush this. You should take a break because there is something I wish to talk to you about." Bao'er stopped and asked Hansen, "What is it?" Hansen took out a towel and wiped the sweat from Bao'er's brow. "I will conduct a test for you. If you could pass this test, you will not have to join the Geno tablet fights. You will be the master of the Geno tablet and the leader of the 33 skies." "Really? But Chaos said I must beat Qin Xiu and all the other enemies to become the leader of the Geno tablet," Bao'er replied. "There are exceptions." Hansen took out the sky clock. The Geno tablet was in Hansen's brain. It seemed upset. "I told you that it is a host and not a master." "Fine. It is a host. You should now take a look at my daughter's genes. Do they pass your standards?" Hansen looked at Bao'er as he spoke. "Your daughter's chance of hitting the gene requirements is low. But if you are begging me now, I will help you have a look." After pausing, the Geno tablet said, "Put a drop of your daughter's blood on the wheel." "Bao'er." Hansen looked at Bao'er. Bao'er curiously looked at the sky clock. "Dad, what is this?" "You do not have to worry. Bite your finger and put a drop of blood on it." Hansen knew it would be too hard to explain, so he did not bother explaining. Bao'er listened to him. She did as she was told and bit her finger without asking anything more. She let a drop of blood fall on the crystal clock's wheel. Chapter 3398 Bao'er's weakness. Bao'er's blood dropped on the wheel. It was like a drop on a sponge. It was immediately absorbed by the surface. The drop of blood spread across the transparent crystal clock. It eventually got sucked into the machine and the cogwheels inside. It was then the cogwheels started to spin. The 3 needles started to spin. They spun so fast that the whole crystal clock's light grew brighter and brighter. This situation lasted an hour. Hansen asked a couple of times, but he did not get an answer from the Geno tablet. After a while more, the crystal clock stopped and reverted to how it used to look. The Geno tablet finally spoke. Weird. Is she really your daughter? She is my daughter, Hansen said. Do you have a problem with that? No, it is not a problem, the Geno tablet quietly said. More than anything, I am curious. You see, a big chunk of her genes turned out to be very similar to yours. If she is your daughter, all of her genes should belong and be connected with yours, right? There are other genes in her body, and they are disturbingly close to the genes of the 17th Sky's leader. Hansen thought. Of course they are close. Qin Xiu was made from the same genes as Bao'er's parents. It is normal for Bao'er to have a part of Qin Xiu's genes. It would be weird if there wasn't. Let's not pay any attention to that right now, Hansen said. Just tell me what my daughter's genes are like. Do they satisfy your requirements? She is the same as Qin Xiu. She lacks a little something. I must confess, I am surprised you have developed such a good daughter. The Geno tablet really doubted that Bao'er was actually Hansen's daughter. It then thought that was impossible. If she was not Hansen's real daughter, the genes would not be so similar to his. Plus, you have no greater choice. Why don't you just let my daughter become your host? Hansen tried to convince the Geno tablet. The Geno tablet did not even give the suggestion some thought. It immediately rejected Han Sr. The rules are rules. That cannot be changed. If you want her to be my host, she must win the Geno tablet fights. You are a living thing, Hansen said. He was not going to give up. He kept on talking. You are not a machine. You should have free will and the ability to make your own decisions. Stop talking. This will never change. If you are willing, I am also willing to give her a chance so she would not have to be the leader of a sky and take part in the Geno tablet fights. But I would do that only because you helped me return to my origin. For what you did, you deserve special treatment. Otherwise, you would not be receiving any of these benefits I am giving you. The Geno tablet stopped Hansen from speaking. Fine. Let us not talk about this anymore. Hansen looked at the crystal clock and asked, if there was no need for a winner, and you had to pick between my daughter and Qin Xiu, which of the two would you choose? If I had to choose, I would opt for Qin Xiu. The Geno tablet did not hesitate to answer. Straight away, it answered Hansen's question as direct as an arrow. Hansen frowned and asked, why? Are you saying Bao'er's genes are not as good as Qin Xiu? The Geno tablet said, regarding genes, I will confess that your daughter might be better. But that aside, to reach the chance requirements, she has one nasty Achilles heel. Do you mean to say there is a disastrous flaw in Bao'er's genes? Hansen was shocked. If Bao'er's genes had flaws, and she fought against Qin Xiu, she would wind up dead. With Qin Xiu's power, he would know Bao'er's flaws. Hansen still did not believe Bao'er had a flaw in her genes. He had been with Bao'er for many years. He had never noticed a flaw in her genes before. No, it is not the genes that are flawed. It is you. The Geno tablet's answer surprised Han Sr. Me? Hansen was shocked. He did not know what the Geno tablet meant. The Geno tablet coldly said, no matter how great and powerful her genes are, she relies on you too much. After all, she is your child. Hansen's body tremored. He now realized what he had been worrying about. Chaos always believed that if Bao'er were to make the first step, she would have greater genes and power to defeat Qin Xiu. Yes, Bao'er was smart. She was intelligent, and she was mature enough. She was able to push her power to the max, but Chaos had forgotten one thing. Bao'er had grown up with Han Senator. Their relationship was much than a daughter and a father. She had an incredible urge to rely on Han Senator. Although Hansen's power was inferior to Bao'er's, she always put herself below Hansen, and was adamant about relying on him. Whatever happened, Hansen was there to cover it all up. But that was not too bad. If Bao'er wanted to fight Qin Xiu would not let Bao'er's weak spot go. He would do something to Han Senator. If something happened to Hansen, Bao'er's mind and resolve would be heavily damaged. Her mind would be messed up, and she would lose. The sort of battle they would have was going to be huge. The slightest mistake could cost them their lives. If Bao'er was distracted, death was the only thing waiting for her. That means I am Bao'er's weakness, Hansen said with bitterness. Yes, you are her weakness, the Geno tablet answered with certainty. Hansen did not say anything. The bitterness in his heart started to spread. Hansen never thought that he might be responsible for what killed Bao'er one day. Dad, are you okay? Bao'er could not hear Hansen and the Geno tablet's conversation, which was going on in his mind. She still saw that Hansen's emotions were not right. She pulled out her little hands to touch his cheek. I am fine. You should keep practicing. I have something to do. I will be right back. Hansen rubbed Bao'er's head and quietly said, Bao'er, for as long as Dad is here, no one can hurt you. There is no need to adopt too much pressure, okay? If you are tired, take a rest. You will be fine. Dad, you are the best. Bao'er grabbed Hansen's neck and kissed him on the cheek. She then seriously said, Do not worry, Dad. None of this is going to stop me. I will succeed. I will protect Dad, Mom, brother, and sister. Hansen was touched by her words. But the more she spoke about such things, the more worried he became. Qin Xiu was the type of felon willing to do anything to achieve whatever goal he wanted. If he found out Bao'er's weakness, he would not let it go unabus to achieve his goal. After leaving the sanctuaries, Hansen wished to say something. Before he could, the Geno tablet's voice sounded in Hansen's head. The last sky now has its leader. The Geno tablet fights are going to start. We should go home. Hansen raised his head. He saw the Geno tablet shining brightly. The final sky now had its leader, and it was someone Hansen knew. It was Ningyu from another sky. Hansen said to himself, So, excluding Bao'er, there are 3 of us joining the Geno tablet fight. This is a chance. Chapter 3399 Keeping a Promise. The 33rd skies, which looked like a gravestone, lit up. It lit up the 2 universes. The Geno tablet shone across the whole world, and all the names scrawled upon it with an unbelievable sense of magic and volume of light. The Geno tablet fights are finally going to begin. If Qin Xiu wins, this is going to be bad. God Hall leader was in the clouds getting ready to watch what happened with the Geno tablet. He looked very serious. Hansen went back to Time Sky. The sky clock had yet to return to its ordinary shape. It still looked like a gravestone. Hansen looked at the sky clock and said, The Geno tablet fights are going to start. Shouldn't you go back to the Geno tablet and be a host now? The Geno tablet's voice sounded in Hansen's brain. It said, You underestimate me. This is just one of my clones. My real spirit will remain in the Geno tablet to host these events. Are you going to keep possessing the sky clock? Hansen asked with shock. If the 32nd sky has a leader, and you want your daughter to join these fights by becoming a leader, it is only natural for a trick to be performed, the Geno tablet said with a look of disdain. If I was not here, do you really think she could access the Geno tablet? To be honest with you, I would prefer it if Bao'er did not fight, Hansen said with a frown. What? Are you afraid of Qin Xiu beating Bao'er and doing harm to you? The Geno tablet asked. Hansen shook his head and said, I just do not want to put my daughter's life at risk. If it is okay, I would like for these matters to be resolved another way. You can't sort it out another way, the Geno tablet said. The evolution of your genes is not good enough. Nothing will work, even if I let you try. Hansen wished to say something, but the Geno tablet quickly said, Other creatures are coming now. I do not want other creatures to learn about my existence. You can do that yourself. After that, the Geno tablet, which was in its sky clock shape, docked in Hansen's hand. Hansen dropped it into one of his robe pockets. Ancient Devil approached Hansen and said, Now it is your time to make good on your promise. Hansen pointed at the shining 33 skies and said, The Geno tablet fight is about to start. Can I sort out your problem after the fight? Do not worry, Ancient Devil said. The 32nd sky has a leader. The Geno tablet fight won't start for another 10 days. Over the course of the next 10 days, any creature that comes to the 33 skies can challenge the old leaders. If they win, they can become the new leader. They will be permitted to join the Geno tablet's true bout. Really? Hansen thought he might be talking crap, but he was actually saying this to the Geno tablet. He wanted to know if the Geno tablet was telling him the truth or not. He is right, the Geno tablet answered. 10 days. That will give us enough time to do this. If things go smoothly, we will only require a single day. Ancient Devil could not hear or see the Geno tablet speak. He spoke directly to Han. Senator Hansen looked at Ancient Devil and asked, "Yeah, but can you tell me what you want the sky clock for?" "I can only tell you that I need the sky clock for the power it has to reverse time," Ancient Devil said. "I want to make an old thing young again." "If things are truly that way, you can bring that thing to time sky. When the time wheel spins, just pick a time area that has reverse spinning needles." Hansen could not believe this. Ancient Devil shook his head. "If things were that easy, I would not come to time sky. That thing is old and unique, so ordinary powers cannot shift it. Only the reverse time powers of the sky clock can make this thing younger. And that is only a possibility. If it does not work, I will have no choice but to find another way. In that case, I will have to go with you." Hansen did not reject him. He wanted to know what item Ancient Devil was going on about. Ancient Devil did not object to the company. He left Time Sky with Han Senator. They went back to the Geno universe. "Are you going to Outer Sky?" Hansen was shocked. Ancient Devil took him to a place where the Very High lived. That place was Outer Sky. Outer Sky had been claimed by many breakworld beasts. Ordinary creatures were unable to live there anymore. The whole of Outer Sky had been mutated. It was a vastly different place from what it used to be before. Even Hansen would not dare go into Outer Sky to hunt breakworld beasts. Ancient Devil nodded and said, "Yes. This very old and unique item resides in Outer Sky. If you can help me bring it back to life, our grudge will be over." I said that as long as it does not clash with my principles, I will be willing to help you. Hansen paused for a bit, but he resumed speaking by saying, "Outer Sky is a big place, and there are breakworld beasts absolutely everywhere. Even if I am not afraid, this will be troublesome. I do not want to waste too much time here. Don't worry, the only reason I am bringing you here is that I know where it is. I know a way that will take us to it. It will be on that does not pose trouble." Ancient Devil looked very confident. Hansen had to follow Ancient Devil to Outer Sky. Ancient Devil already knew how to get around. He traveled through the forest, going around and around. The two of them walked for over half a day without encountering a single beast. "We are almost there. The thing I am talking about is there." Ancient Devil pointed to a spot as he spoke. Hansen had a look. He was shocked by what he saw, so he asked, "Isn't that Mirror Lake? Is the thing you are talking about in Mirror Lake?" "Yeah." Ancient Devil quickly confirmed this to be the case. "Since we are already here, it is about time you tell me all about what it is you are looking to do," Hansen said with a frown. "You will learn soon enough. Why are you always in such a rush?" Ancient Devil still had not told Hansen what it was about. He walked over to Mirror Lake, but he was unsure of what he was looking for. Hansen thought Mirror Lake connected to the anti-material world, which was practically the universe of kingdoms. He knew Outer Sky and the universe of kingdoms had a large wedge between them. That wedge was the 33 skies. It did not seem as if it would be possible to fetch an item from the universe of kingdoms from there. Even if they were able to fish something up, the stuff in the universe of kingdoms would be repelled by the Geno universe. They would prove themselves to be useless. Hansen was able to use items from the Geno universe in Mirror Lake. He had been able to effectively use the 4-sheet cube. He was able to use that quite a lot in the Geno universe. And it could also send people to the universe of kingdoms. That was a bit scary. If Mirror Lake does not connect to the universe of kingdoms, where does it truly connect to? What is this item Ancient Devil keeps referring to? Hansen was guessing. Ancient Devil intently peered into the lake's mist. After a while, he suddenly jumped in and went straight into the clouds of Mirror Lake. He told Hansen, "Follow behind me. Do not lose me." Chapter 3400 The History of Ancient Devil Beneath Mirror Lake. The space was very chaotic. The anti-material powers surged through the mist. Not just a body would have been melted by those powers. Even Geno armaments would have been. Ancient Devil brought Han-san in with me to take a sneaky route. Han-san did not feel anything on his way down. The powers of the Mirror Lake did not do anything to harm his body. Han-san thought, this body should be able to see me through to the other side of Mirror Lake, but I do not know what resides on the other side of Mirror Lake. Is Ancient Devil really going to go right through Mirror Lake? Han-san soon received his answer. Ancient Devil was not planning to go through Mirror Lake completely. He did not dive too deep. He had merely been searching through Mirror Lake. Not long later, he led Han-san to the edge of Mirror Lake. Han-san looked at the cliffside-looking banks of Mirror Lake. A platform protruding from them. The platform was not very big. There was a space about 30 square feet there. It was close to the walls of Mirror Lake. There was also a statue. The statue was sitting next to the stone wall. Both hands made a weird handprint. The eyelids were lowered. It looked as if it was someone asleep. Because it had been there so long, the stone statue was covered moss. One could not tell the original color of the stone statue. That is it. Use your Sky Clock's time reversal powers now, and let the stone statue's status go back through time. Ancient Devil looked at the stone platform. He pointed at it and spoke in its direction. How long must I take it back for? Han-san's eyes peered at the stone statue. He could not use the Dongxian aura or scan the stone statue. Judging from the way it looked, the stone statue did not look all that special. If it weren't for the fact that it was sitting in Mirror Lake and was just in an average place, Han-san would not have spared it a second glance. After thinking for a moment, Ancient Devil replied, I think it needs to go back a long time. I cannot be sure for how long it needs to go back though. Just keep it going back until it looks like a proper statue again. Han-san looked at the stone statue. He then looked at Ancient Devil and said, this stone statue kind of looks like you. Please don't tell me it was shaped in your image. So what? Even if it was, who cares? Ancient Devil neither confessed the truth nor denied the allegation. You should tell me the history of this stone statue before we go any further, Han-san said. Otherwise, how am I supposed to know if this goes against my principles or not? How am I supposed to know if I should really be helping you? Ancient Devil stared at the stone statue with a conflicted look. A while later he said, you are right. This statue bears the face of me in my past life. I look different now, but there is still some kind of presence in it. Your eyes are good since you were able to tell that. Han-san asked Ancient Devil. A presence of old you? Anything similar to you in a 1 in million find? It is not hard for me to perceive anything to do with you. But why would you keep a statue of yourself in your past life here in Mirror Lake? Why do you need it returned to how it used to be? I did not put the statue here. It was here already. Ancient Devil paused. He looked back to the statue and asked Han-san, do you know what resides below Mirror Lake? I thought the Mirror Lake is a tunnel between the Geno universe and the universe of kingdoms, Han-san said. I am starting to think that is not the case anymore. I suppose you are halfway correct. Ancient Devil started to explain Mirror Lake to him. Mirror Lake does connect to universes, but the way it connects is very special. It doesn't really go through two worlds. Outer sky was above the 33 skies. It was a part of space that was independent of the 33 skies. In the very beginning there was no outer sky or 33 skies. The two universes were complete, separate areas, and the Geno tablet was outside them. Then the God Chaos Party's old leader Chaos broke open a space tunnel to enter another area. It was there she discovered the Geno tablet. She used the Geno tablet to modify what later came to be known as the 33 skies. She planned to use the 33 skies and Geno tablet to replace the Geno Hall and the god spirits that ruled. That way, she could become the sole leader of the universe. In the end, her plans were foiled. The 33 skies were not properly built. When the battle began, the universe was rebooted and broken in the process. Within outer sky, there was a place Chaos did not modify. That was why there was a place sticking out when the 33 skies broke. Even though the Geno tablet had rebuilt the 33 skies, that area had not returned to how it was supposed to be. Because outer sky was still in its most primitive mode, it became the buffer zone for both universes. There was no need to go through the 33 skies to reach the other universe. It was able to connect the 33 skies to any sky. Outer sky was like a place that could go through anywhere. It led to any corner of the world. If a life force wished to travel through it, doing so was very difficult. Even when Chaos found the Geno tablet in the chaotic area, she had to become the master of the Geno tablet to do what she was able to do. Hansen did not understand, so he asked, I understand what you are trying to tell me, but what does that have to do with your statue? Ancient Devil looked at Hansen and slowly replied, in the beginning, it was not just the Geno tablet that was being born. That cannot be you. Hansen's heart jumped. He looked at Ancient Devil with shock. Ancient Devil nodded. He then shook his head. You have guessed things half correct again. In the chaos, a demon stone was born, but was not me, Ancient Devil. Mr. Leader then carved the demon stone into a stone statue. That is how my past life came to be. Does that mean this statue has your past life's real body? Hansen looked at the statue in disbelief. He quickly asked, if your body is still here, how did you end up being reincarnated? If this was not the body's real power, how would I be able to carry my memories over during my reincarnation while the universe was thrown into the turmoil of its rebooting process? Ancient Devil asked. After the reincarnation, I was disconnected from it. I was unable to use its powers anymore. Do you want it to be returned to its original shape so you can control it again? Hansen asked. Ancient Devil ended up shaking his head. If I wanted to control it, I would have to give up my body now and combine with it. In that case, why do you want it returned to its original shape? Hansen asked. I don't like the way it looks. I don't want me to keep looking like that forever. Ancient Devil's answer surprised Senator Hansen did not understand, and so he asked Ancient Devil again, why? Because Mr. Leader used another person's face in the carving, Ancient Devil weirdly said. I do not want to bear the shadow of someone else. Hansen now understood. Chaos would not randomly carve the statue of a man. The statue must have been taken from the reference of something else. Now that he thought about it, even if he did not ask Ancient Devil, Hansen could have guessed who it was depicting. There was an 80% to 90% that it was Bao'er's real father. It was the prior leader of the Geno Hall. Chapter 34:01 Being challenged. Hansen's heart pounded as he thought. If Ancient Devil's body in the past life had Bao'er's father's face, that means Ancient Devil did not like his past life's face, because he had a crush on the God Chaos Party leader. It was because of jealousy that he did not want to look like his love rival. Can you get it over with yet? Ancient Devil did not explain. He just pointed at the stone statue. It should be fine, I suppose. Hansen was not completely certain. If this was just his idea, he would have used the sky clock to turn the statue back into its former shape. Now the Geno tablet was living inside the sky clock. In its current state, the sky clock could not do things just because Hansen willed it. The power of the sky clock can turn it into the original shape. I know that for sure. You do not need to worry about that. Ancient Devil misunderstood. He thought Hansen was hesitating because he did not think the sky clock's power could work on the statue. Okay, I will give it a go. Hansen did not explain the truth. He took out the sky clock and carefully activated its power. The Geno tablet did not attempt to disturb the sky clock. The 3 needles on the crystal clock, which looked like a gravestone, started madly spinning. The bottom of the crystal clock statue had a time reverse effect. It started to exhibit weird changes. The moss started to fade, revealing its original color. It was a black rock that looked like an inky stone. It was so dark that the light did not even reflect off it. Any light that landed on it looked like it was absorbed by a black swirl. When Hansen looked at it, all he saw was a black statue. He could not even see its face. Time was going backward. After a while, the statue had no changes. The statue looked like it was going back through billions of years. There was way too much time being reversed. Hansen used all the power he could to run the sky clock for this, but the statue's changes were still very slow. There were not many changes over that course of time. You are too slow. I should give it a go. The Geno tablet's voice sounded in Hansen's brain. Hansen saw the sky clock's needle speed up. It was much faster now than it was when he was using the sky clock. It spun incredibly fast. Quickly, the statue started to exhibit changes. The lines on the body started to fill. It went from delicate to thick. It went from thick to thicker. It then became a black stone that had the shape of a nut. Ancient Devil looked at Hansen with shock. The sky clock was Time Sky's treasure, but there should have been no way it was that strong. A moment later, it was hard to tell how many billions of years went by. Even if Moment God, who was one of the 12 main god spirits, was there, she would not have been able to do what it had just been done. Yet the sky clock achieved this with ease. It made Ancient Devil a very confused man. Hansen saw the sky clock stop by itself. He then asked Ancient Devil, "Is that okay now?" "That is good. Thank you kindly." Ancient Devil bowed. "It is just a simple trade. You do not have to be so polite." After pausing, Hansen looked at Ancient Devil and asked, "Are you going to join the Geno tablet fights?" "I will go." Ancient Devil sounded calm in his response, but Hansen sensed that he was very determined when it came to his participation. "I wonder if the Geno tablet fights are 1 versus 1 or group fights," Hansen said. "If they are group fights, why don't you and I deal with Qin Xiu together? After all, you do not want to see Qin Xiu get the Geno tablet, do you?" Ancient Devil did not answer. The Geno tablet sounded in Hansen's ear. "Do not even think about it. Let's not say I would not give you a chance. Even if I did give you a chance, it would only end up with you being bullied by Qin Xiu. In the 33 skies, most people have a connection to the Geno tablet." When Hansen heard it speak, he felt a little disappointed. If it was just a one-on-one fight, if Bao'er encountered Qin Xiu before he did, he would be unable to protect her. Hansen thought, no. I cannot let Bao'er join the Geno tablet fights. At the very least, I must fight Qin Xiu before she does. Even if I cannot defeat him, I want to at least be able to damage Qin Xiu. Then Bao'er can swoop in to finish him off. Ancient Devil said, "The Geno tablet fights are just one-on-one fights. Even if I wanted to fight Qin Xiu with you, there would be no chance. I just hope we don't fight each other too soon. If we do, one of us will walk away a winner. That will only benefit Qin Xiu." "I hope so too. I have to go now." Hansen waved his hands and readied himself to escape Mirror Lake. Ancient Devil stopped him and said, "There is one more thing. After thinking it over, I believe I should tell you. If you meet Berry Path God, you should be very careful. I am not afraid of Qin Xiu. Do you think I'd be afraid of someone like Berry Path God?" Hansen did not care. Ancient Devil was not mad about his line of thinking. He just went on to say, Berry Path God was given most of the old leader's items. On top of that, he is the strongest spirit in the 33 skies. Perhaps his power might not be as great as Qin Xiu's, but he will certainly pose a threat. "I understand." Hansen looked a bit serious as he thought. Why did Chaos put all of her treasures in the same spot? That only benefited Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon. They should belong to Bao'er, and what Bao'er has belongs to me. That means Berry Path God, that asshole, stole all of my treasure. I cannot forgive him for that. After leaving Outer Sky, Hansen readied himself to return to Space Garden. Before he returned to Space Garden, the sky clock suddenly started to spin. It twisted space and took Hansen back to Time Sky. "Geno tablet, what are you doing?" Hansen thought the Geno tablet was controlling the sky clock to play tricks on him. "I did not do anything. It seems some creature started a leader fight. It looks like he wants your seat." The Geno tablet's voice was playing in Hansen's head. Who is doing this? How dare he challenge Time Sky? Is Qin Xiu coming? Hansen raised his head. The whole of Time Sky was lit up. On the Geno tablet in the 33rd sky, the name of the leader of the 29th sky was lit up. Quickly, the Geno tablet displayed an image of Time Sky. Everyone from every corner of both universes was able to see Time Sky clearly. Aside from Qin Xiu, Hansen could not think of anyone who would dare challenge him now. Time Sky's power was weird, And Han Sen was a leader of Time Sky. He at least had the home advantage. Even if they wanted to fight Han Sen, ordinary Break World elites would not go to Time Sky to challenge him. There were not any other creatures around wanting to challenge him. Han Sen looked at the Geno tablet's displayed image. He then saw the person who had challenged him. It is her. Han Sen was shocked. The person who challenged him was Moment God. Chapter 34:02 Fighting Moment God again. When the creatures of both universes saw Moment God challenge Han Sen again, they were outright dumbstruck. The creatures of the Geno universe and the universe of kingdoms knew Han Sen had once fought Moment God, and he had managed to kill Moment God once. Back then, Moment God hadn't totally recovered. The current Moment God was different. When the humans of the universe of kingdoms saw Moment God challenge Han Sen, they were outright dumbstruck. She was one of the 12 primary annihilation god spirits. Now she was looking to challenge the infamous Han Senator. In their eyes, Moment God was much stronger. Han Sen was surprised. When Time Sky did not have a leader, Moment God did not go to Time Sky to wage combat for the position. Now she wants to challenge me. What does that mean? Although Han Sen and Moment God had a conflict once before, Qin Xiu was an enemy of the Geno Hall. They both shared a common nemesis. According to the theory, the Geno Hall should have sent people after Qin Xiu to see if they could displace his position as leader of a sky. There was no rhyme or reason for why she would challenge Han Senator. As Moment God approached, she traveled through the stone clock areas that were already spinning. She was not affected by them. Not long later, she walked in front of Han Senator. She was really tall. She looked very proud and cold. She looked really powerful, like an actual god coming. Han Sen looked at Moment God and asked, "Moment God, why are you challenging me?" Moment God looked at Han Sen coldly. She did not change the expression on her face while replying, "You and I fight today. If I win, you will give me the sub-god from the God of Wealth Temple. If I lose, you can do whatever you want to me." What is Moment God talking about? Does she want Han Sen's God of Wealth Temple sub-god? Should she not go looking for the God of Wealth? Why go and look for Han Sen? In the universe of kingdoms, many nobles currently unable to understand what was going on. No way. Is Han Sen the God of Wealth? Was he that mysterious, 13th annihilation class god spirit? Someone reacted quickly, thinking that might be the answer to the mystery. How would this be possible? How could Han Sen be the God of Wealth? In the Qin Kingdom, many nobles had their eyes open wide. Their mouths could not be closed. I see. That explains everything. In King Qin's white face, one could see the fashioned shape of excitement. Han Sen was the 13th annihilation class main god, and he was a friend of Qin Bai. If there were no accidents, the Qin Kingdom would have another annihilation class main god to guide them. Qin Bai would definitely become a king. Even though the Qin Kingdom already had many annihilation class main god spirits, there weren't any annihilation class main god spirits in close association with Qin Bai. None operated as Han Sen did. It seems my son did have some luck. King Qin sighed. He was not sure if he was happy for Qin Bai or not, or if it was just dumb luck that Qin Bai was so blessed. How is that possible? A Qin Kingdom officer had just woken up from his daze. He was unable to accept how Han Sen could be the 13th annihilation class main god. If this came from the mouths of other people, the nobles that thought Han Sen was the biggest evil officer in the Qin Kingdom could not believe it. But this was from Moment God. No one could doubt her words. I cannot answer you. Han Sen smiled at Moment God. He knew Moment God was there for the god spirit of Moment God. Are you afraid you will lose? Moment God stared at Han Sen coldly. Winning or losing does not matter, Han Sen said. She is my sub-god. She is not my slave. She has a will and free will. She can leave and she can stay where she is. She is the one to determine that. It is up to her, so I will not use her life for a gambit even if I know I am going to win. You are just afraid to lose, Moment God coldly said. You do not have to go a long way around for saying that. If you want to trade something else, I don't mind fighting you. Han Sen did not decline to participate in combat with her. He just smiled and looked at her. It does not matter if you agree or not. I am fighting you today. I will avenge the humiliation I suffered over you killing me once before. Moment God's eyes were so cold they were like icy blades. They could pierce through Han Sen's lungs. After hearing that, the universe of kingdoms was shocked. Han Sen was the god of wealth. They could not believe it. The scariest thing about it was the fact that Moment God had confessed to Han Sen having killed her. The humans of the universe of kingdoms believed the 12 annihilation main gods were as good as they got. They thought they ruled absolute supreme. They could not imagine something like this happening. That was especially true of the Qin kingdom's nobles. Their mouths were wide and agape. They were big enough to allow a fist to fit in. They were all frozen, unable to believe what their ears were hearing. Han Sen, that big and evil man. He is an annihilation class main god. He killed Moment God. They all felt as if their brains were failing. God, what did we do wrong? Many nobles of the Qin kingdom were crying. It was like they had just woken up from a dream. If they could establish a good relationship with Qin Bai, it meant they could meet an annihilation class main god. Then their kids and grandchildren would be on the God of Wealth's doorstep. God of Wealth had many powerful members. After the last god fight, God of Wealth became very famous. It was not just Han Sen either. Even Ingot had shocked many people. But they were unable to be friends with Han Sen, and they treated a big god like the biggest evil person in the history of the Qin kingdom. They felt very bad. It was as if they could not breathe. God, what have we done? Han Sen, you are an annihilation class god spirit. Is it really so fun to become a commoner and walk amongst us? You fucking did this deliberately. Many nobles of the Qin kingdom were sad. They envied Qin Bai. Although Qin Bai was not exactly king material, if Han Sen was not going to die and supported Qin Bai, he would be the king. This was an annihilation class main god that killed Moment God. Aside from Qin Bai, all the Qin kingdom nobles had missed a good chance. They had no idea that when Han Sen and the others tried to kill Moment God, her powers had yet to recover. She was no longer the way she was then. In the past you helped me escape. I owe you one. Why are you doing this to me? Han Sen did not want to fight Moment God for nothing. Even if he beat Moment God, it was a pointless victory. It only gave Qin Xiu one less enemy. Did I not say I was not there to save you? I was saving Miss Bao'er. You do not owe me anything. Today we must fight. Moment God stepped forward and approached Han. Senator Han Sen now understood why Han Jinji tricked Bao'er into going to the 33 skies. He wanted to use the Geno Hall's power to save him. The cause power was complicated, so he went to the 33 skies for Bao'er. If Bao'er had not gone to the 3 skies, Han Sen would not have gone inside either. He could not tell if Han Jinji had done this as a mistake or not. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.